Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Part-Time Allies Part-Time Podcast. I'm Ryan. Joining me tonight, we have Jordan.
Hello.
We have Josh.
Near's on sale. Go buy it now.
We have AJ.
Hi.
And once again, I'm Ryan. So, guys, this week was a week, huh?
It sure was.
It was a week.
Did you hear about all that Monster
7
Hunter
days.
news?
Oh, wow.
No, I'm not going to jump the gun. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, let's talk
tell.
about Monster Hunter for another 20 minutes.
Hey.
Ooh,
It's worth it.
Well,
it is.
You've convinced me, Josh. I'm going to buy it day one.
Thanks, buddy.
Me too. Wow, so convincing.
But no, there's something actually off the bat that we wanted to talk about. We got another email from Part-Time Allies listener, Chrissy. And Chrissy, thank you so much. We're not moving emails to the front of the show, but she brought up some great points that I want to bring up with the rest of you guys to catch up to speed as to what Part-Time Allies is supposed to be about. So at the end of her email, which we'll get to the rest of it afterwards, she asks us, do you guys watch any TV shows? And also, something in the lines of, what would you recommend for a starter anime? So Part-Time Allies is supposed to be a nerd culture show. We focus mainly on video games here because that's what the majority of our time is spent on, I think. But we want to talk about anime. We want to talk about movies. We want to talk about comics. And I feel like E3 kind of overshadowed a lot of that for our last two episodes. So we're going to try and talk a little bit more about those type of things this week. So thanks, Chrissy. We'll get back to the rest of your email at the end of the show. And yeah, so speaking of movies, Ryan, I know you wanted to talk about a certain movie today.
yeah, it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time that I haven't seen yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. A little movie just came out this last weekend called Transformers: The Last Knight. And boy, was this a movie. I have not seen it yet. And I can't really judge a movie I've not seen, but from what I'm hearing, it's not doing so hot.
No.
It's currently sitting at a 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
Rumor is that screen time for some of the important characters is a little lopsided, being that the trailer makes it look like that Optimus Prime is going to be kind of a main character or villain for this, potentially. But apparently he only has 5% of the screen time, which isn't a lot for a 2-hour film. Mark Wahlberg takes up about 85% of that screen time.
Interesting. It's almost like it was part of his weird contract.
This is interesting, too. The movie's called Transformers, but guys, we only got Mark Wahlberg. We don't have any Transformers.
Where's this funky bunch?
Is this Burger Shop in the movie?
I think the real question is there explosions in the movie, Ryan?
It's Michael Bay, so yes. But that's the other interesting point about this is Michael Bay has stated that this is his last Transformers movie.
Ooh.
Thank goodness, question mark?
But that poses the question, is this the last Transformers movie?
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's gonna be for a long time. I think I don't know if I mean the only reason why those movies are staying afloat is because people see them anyway. It's a popcorn movie,
And
right?
they do well overseas. So
That's true.
they're making money off of it, but they're still making a bit of a bomb in North America, especially when you bring in like big name actor like Anthony Hopkins for a film like this, and it just is bombing critically. So
Yeah.
that's okay. That's my first bit of movie news there.
But why do you think it has so much success in the terms? I mean, success loosely because of the ratings, but the box office is pretty big.
Well, I think if you look at some of the merchandising numbers, other than Star Wars, I'm pretty sure Transformers is one of like the top selling franchises like worldwide
Oh,
for
wow, really?
merchandise. Yeah, Transformers has been around for almost as long as Star Wars, and pretty much most kids go into a thing. It's like, oh no, wait, I can have a car and a robot. Cool. I don't have to get one or the other. So it's good for that kind of thing, and I can see why across the globe people would want that. But
So has anyone watched all of the movies?
Oh, gosh, no.
I've seen
I've seen all of them.
all of them up until this one. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I probably will go to theaters to see it,
Ooh,
but
maybe.
potentially.
I mean, for me, it's a guilty pleasure movie. For me, it's something I can just sit down and kind of eat my popcorn and not give a crap about. Just kind of like, oh, nice, robots fighting stuff.
I think my favorite part about the last one was You can tell Michael Bay just loves explosions and doesn't have a concept of how things really work, because a car flipped over completely fine and it just slowly rocked down, and when the hood hit the pavement it exploded.
That's how engines work, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no,
They're
he-
just made
he
of
knows what he's
bombs,
doing.
right?
Pretty much. Yeah, that
Yeah.
they're kind of comical movies, but yeah, like AJ said, they're popcorn
Yeah.
popcorn flicks.
Yes.
One
That's
popcorn
exactly-
flip.
That's exactly what they
They're
are.
a popcorn flip.
One popcorn,
Have you watched
3
all of
butter.
them, Jadaine?
Hey,
Have you watched any of the Transformers? You've watched the
I've
first
I've
one
watched the first
too?
2, but the second one I closed it
Yeah.
halfway through.
Yeah.
I think they're a great movie to watch in the cinema because people want to go there and just see.
Yeah.
It's like eye candy for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's loud
And it's loud, and you don't have to
flashy.
think. It's nice. Sometimes you just want to go into the theater, not really think about anything, and just enjoy what's coming to your eyes. And you're like, yeah, this is nice, and then you could forget about it after. You don't have to think about it after the movie. It's nice and easy.
Yeah. Okay. Keeping on the movie topic real quick and going with nice on the eyes. Wow. What I watched this week, I don't know why I waited so long to watch it. I finally watched The Martian.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that movie's so good. It's
This movie's
it's
so good.
It's so well done in that like I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. I'm a science guy. I like the sciencey stuff. And they do some really cool stuff with that movie, like the way he has to keep the air pressure in the room, the way that with the oxygenation and the way the room spoilers for The Martian, the way the potato room explodes. Like that whole scene is just I'm just sitting there and I have this big nerd grin on my face going like, "Oh, they did this right." And
Yeah.
I'm happy about it.
I think one of the coolest parts too is like, guys, I'm gonna Iron Man it, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna be Iron Man it.
That
Yeah.
movie is incredible. And if you haven't watched that, you need to go watch it. You
Yeah.
need to go
and
watch
and you'll
that
have
movie.
to watch the prequel to that movie too. The prequel is called Castaways.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Same concept.
Well, and there's so many so many memes going around too. It's like looking at all the movies Matt Damon has been in. It's like how much money has been put into saving Matt Damon's life.
All the time.
Interstellar,
Yep.
Saving Private Ryan, The Martian. There's a bunch of others that I can't think of right now, but it's a thing.
Yeah,
We-
that's a cool number.
Hollywood pays money to
Yeah.
save Matt Damon.
Is he typecasted as the as the guy who needs to get saved?
Yeah.
He's the damsel in distress. He's the
Oh.
Damon in distress.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's a zinger.
I've never heard that before, but that's really good.
That's a good one.
Damon in distress. Before we jump off of movies, I want to just give the audience and maybe even us. I'm not sure if I know your guys's or even yours actually. I want to know what our favorite movies are. Maybe let's
Wormhole.
let's give it a range of the last 5 years.
Sharknado.
What was like your number one movie in the last couple years?
That's good that you put.
Oh.
Ooh,
a
that's a
time
good
limit.
one.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna have to think about that.
All right,
The
I've
Martian.
got one. Oh wow, really?
Really?
Yep.
Martian. Okay, cool.
Why is it your number one in
It
the
was-
past 5 years?
In the past 5, it was in the past 5, right?
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like
it totally
2
was.
years ago.
Yep.
I mean, it was just great. I mean, the science stuff. Like Matt Damon's a great actor. Like Josh said, like all the science stuff. I mean, I'm not a super science nerd, but it felt real, and it felt like it was possible. And I also like Donald Glover. So I mean, Donald Glover was in that movie.
Oh, he was so great. In
And
that.
so, like, he's one of my favorite rappers. So, I mean, yeah. And then there's also that scene in that movie that Ryan was talking about to me with Sean Bean, and they talk about the council,
the Council of Elrond. Yeah,
and it was just so like, it was so like meta and so like weird, but I loved it because Sean Bean was there, and you can't do that.
yeah,
with Sean
they're
Bean.
they're having the Council of Elrond, and Sean Boromir is sitting at the table.
And it's like he played Boromir. You can't just. But it was awesome. And it was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
But I mean, I love that movie. The visuals are great. The suspense was great, and then, I don't know. It was an amazing movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
It's
Right
good
on.
choice.
Jordan, do you have one off the top of your head?
Yeah, I loved Mad Max.
Ooh,
It was
yep.
such
Oh,
a well
interesting.
orchestrated movie.
I forgot about that.
The only thing
Oof.
that wasn't that great about the movie was the story. But everything else was amazing. It was like watching a Cirque du Soleil show. And I just loved the different kind of characters that were in there. Like the War Boys
Oh.
were amazing. I loved the culture, and I want to dig deeper into that. So I hope for their future movies that they're going to make, they're going to show more about the culture of the War Boys, because it was really interesting, and all the designs of all the vehicles and everything, and all the special effects done on production. It was amazing.
You know,
The
we should
special
go-
effects were amazing.
We should
Well, a
do
lot of
Burning
them-
Man. You know what Burning Man is? You know what Burning Man is?
Yes.
Yeah, they
Let's do
had
it.
a Mad Max.
It's basically
theme
Mad
one. I think it was
Max.
like 2 years ago.
It's Mad Max but with drugs.
Let's do it.
I'm good, but send me the pictures.
You
please.
got it. You got it.
Cool. Right on. Yeah, the mine is gonna have to be Arrival.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Have
That's
we
a
all
good
seen
one,
it?
too.
Such a good
Yeah,
movie.
I've seen it.
Yeah, Arrival for me holds a special place because I recently had to learn a second language, or not had to, but I did for work. And wow, that movie goes into some topics about how languages change the way you think, which is true. Like I was reading some report that like Spanish speakers, for example, their brain has to operate more quickly to be able to have conversational Spanish speed, right? And no spoilers, but Arrival tackles languages in a similar and interesting way, and how learning a certain language in that movie changes the way that the protagonist thinks. And oh boy,
It's an incredible movie.
yeah, it's I love a good movie with a twist, and that's a movie with a twist. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember looking at. I think we were going to see a movie. Me and Ryan were going to see a movie. We didn't know what movie, and the movie we wanted to watch wasn't in theaters or something. And so we looked at this, and I was like, he's like, "Oh, let's watch this one." I was like, "What? What is this?" I thought it was about like planes or something. Then we watched the trailer, and it's about aliens. And I was like, "Oh, aliens!" So then we watched it, and we brought Jordan along, and yeah, it was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So watch it.
I'm having such a hard time thinking
Oh.
of a movie.
It's okay. We could circle back later.
I mean, any honorable mentions?
I have so many honorable mentions.
Just a couple. Just let's do a couple.
Just like-
oh my goodness, I cannot remember the name of the name of this movie is the one where they go into the dreams. Inception. I don't know if Inception was the last 5 years, but
I think it was
Mm,
2012.
oh boy, I love
think-
that
yeah, it's
movie
5
too.
years.
It might have
Okay.
been 2011.
Yeah.
Let's
To be
take a
honest.
look.
Well, anyways,
Um,
we increased the range to 6 years, and Interstellar is
So
my pick.
I got Her.
Oh boy,
Her was
that's a good
really
movie.
that really Ex Machina?
Yeah,
No.
Ex Machina.
Was that it?
Yeah. It's so this what hung me up to Deus Ex is a video game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ex Machina is
The movie. Yeah, okay. And then Kubo.
Oh yeah, that was I really
Kubo,
like that as
the-
well. That's
the
definitely
two
top
strings?
3 in the
Yeah,
past.
they got
5
robbed
years.
at the Oscars for Best Animated Picture.
yeah.
They
Mhm.
deserved it.
I mean, to be fair, Zootopia is a really good looking movie,
yeah,
but
Mhm.
yeah, they should have won it just on merit of being something different, I think.
yeah,
The work.
being not Disney.
Have you watched Kubo, Josh?
No, I haven't, but I've heard amazing things.
Well,
It's
like
really
that. There's the
good.
ending of that movie. At the end credits, they show you how it's made. Like it's like claymation, right? It's like, stop motion. I mean,
Yeah.
And the scale. There's like this really giant like skeletal beast, and then they showed the studio, and it's like hung up, and they're just moving it like little by little, and it's amazing.
Total side tangent. Do you remember middle school? So,
Okay.
okay, backing up a little bit. This is going to be weird. AJ and I went to middle school together.
Oh.
Grade 9,
Okay.
me and some friends. I don't remember if you were in the class, but I think you were. There was a class that was a videography class.
Okay.
Were you in it with us?
I don't know. Maybe.
There was like you, me, Colin,
Maybe. Yeah.
Rory.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
So
I was in that.
the very last project was a claymation. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh boy, we put so many lunch hours into our like stop motion claymation thing. It was a movie about Chuck Norris killing zombies because we were 14-year-olds. Oh, I love that class so much. I remember we had a camera with tapes, and we had to take like the tapes out of it and load them on the. Oh man, that was a cool class.
So why didn't you work on Kubo then? What's going on?
Because if you go back and watch it, it was really really bad.
And that's why Kubo should have got Best Animated.
Okay, I can't. Going back to the original question, I can't think of one, but I can give you a long list.
Sure.
So basically, anything that Marvel made, and I'll include Deadpool and Logan in that.
Yep.
I would also have to include kind of what you guys said, like Martian, Mad Max, Arrival. Arrival is actually one of the first ones I thought of. Grand Budapest Hotel is up there.
Okay, no, changing my answer to Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh,
I
Whoa.
loved that.
Good movie though. Amazing
Okay.
movie.
If I had to classify it based on art, like art direction, Grand Budapest Hotel wins.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the director?
Wes Anderson.
Wes
Wes
Anderson.
Anderson. His shots are perfectly symmetric almost all the time.
Very-
It's
Very
beautiful.
artsy. Very
Beautiful
artsy.
movie.
Yeah, another one too that I just recently watched is from Jordan Peele, Get Out.
Oh,
that was pretty
so
good.
good.
I liked it. Yeah,
That was super
That was
good.
really
so good.
Haven't seen it.
It's
you should watch it, Josh.
Watch it.
It's
It's
very
amazing.
interesting.
Well,
it's
Do you
very
like horror
fresh.
movies?
Oh, is this the one with the multiple personality guy?
No.
no, that's Split.
Okay,
That's
I
Split.
hated Split.
Yeah, no. This is. It's like a horror. It's not that much of a
it's
horror
like
movie.
a psychological horror.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It messes with your brain a little bit,
I'll
but it's
check it out.
really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's well made. You should watch it. Low budget too. It
Low
was great.
budget, well made.
Right on.
Okay, I think if I had to put one at the number one spot, it kind of has to go with like the hype and the weight alone, and that is The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, so
Mm.
All right.
Just
that was good.
just because like
Mhm.
the titles or like the starting credits are with the like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, like that came up on screen. And when Star Wars flashed on the screen, everyone in the theater cheered. And that just
That was
Oh.
a great feeling.
put me right in the mood.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
Any honorable mentions, Jordan? Because I'm sure people want to know your input here. Think about it.
In the past 5 years,
There's quite a lot, but things that stuck out to you. Because I know you're harder to please in terms of movies, from experience at least.
it's definitely tough for me to put a finger on it because I watch a lot of old movies and I really appreciate a lot of the old movies, and the newer movies that I see
It's true.
don't feel as fresh.
Yeah.
What's
And-
one old movie off the top of your head? Just right now, it doesn't have to be your number one, but what?
Oh, Aliens. I love Aliens
Really?
so
Okay.
much. I've seen it
Aliens.
so many times.
Aliens is gorgeous. Okay, then Josh, name a old movie off the top of your head.
Snatch.
Snatch?
That's a good one too.
AJ?
Lord of the Rings. There's no competition there. This is my number one.
Wait. You got to pick.
Fellowship.
Oh.
Yep.
No hesitation.
Nope, none.
None.
He
Wow.
snapped that question up.
Guys, for me, it's got to be Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Another good one.
That's good.
I have
So good.
so much love for that film.
So, easiest segue of our lives, television. I think we all watch a lot of the same stuff.
We do.
Yeah, I think so.
Game of Thrones being like one huge event, I think, for all of us. That
Yes.
we book time when the episode comes out to go watch it. At least I think all of us
Yeah,
do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We get together and have a little Sunday evening together. Nice little Sunday evening.
Yeah.
And season 7 is in less than
2
a
weeks.
month. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh
2
my
weeks.
It's coming up.
goodness.
Yep.
So
have you seen the
please-
second trailer?
Sure have.
No, I haven't watched anything.
Haven't seen any
Anything.
trailers.
And the reason-
not going to.
Not watching anything.
They don't really spoil a lot.
No, they're good.
But yeah, I just like things being fresh.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm so excited for Game of Thrones. I mean, not only is it an amazing TV show, but it's something I can get together with my friends and hang out and speculate. Like that's so good.
Yeah.
Just speculate and just talk about the show.
Yeah. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
So good and something to look forward to every week.
Yeah. What also like when it comes to television in kind of the nerd geek genre, like that would include or that would not include like a lot of those just generic on television kind of shows, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so like one of my favorite TV shows is Breaking Bad. Would that
Mhm.
count as like
I would
I
count
would
it
say
okay?
because that kind of hit nerd. Like you go into, I don't know, most nerd stores and they'll have like kind of Breaking Bad
Yeah,
action
that's true.
figures or shirts or something
Yeah.
like that, or some reference to Breaking Bad.
It's infiltrated nerd culture.
Like ones that I don't think wouldn't be included, but are some of my favorite shows that I've seen, like The Office.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Just gonna say, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is so funny. That's moved up to one of my top shows of
So-
all time.
how do we define like TV show? Does it have to be on TV? Because I mean, a lot of the TV shows, air quotes, it's like on Netflix now. You know what I mean?
I say
Yeah.
Netflix counts as TV.
So Netflix counts as TV.
Yeah,
You
because
could just call it a show.
Yeah, show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a between hour or like half an hour to 45-minute piece of content. However, I'm just gonna put this out there right now. It doesn't fall into that category, but Sherlock is my number one TV show.
no, that
the,
that counts.
The Cumberbatch one.
Count it.
Definitely, really, really good show.
That that show falls way deep into nerd culture too.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
I would also say some of my top ones are again, I'm a Marvel nerd. So
too.
Daredevil, so good. Luke Cage, man, I watched that show, didn't know what I thought of it. 2 weeks later, realized I'm in love with the show and watched it again. It was so good.
I eat those Marvel Netflix shows like candy. Like
Yeah.
the moment they come out, I binge watch in the next 3 to 2 days.
Yeah. Well, just gonna quickly talk about it. Iron Fist came out a few months ago.
Yep.
Got really, really bad reviews, but the show isn't that bad.
It's not bad.
Like I can see the issues with it, like specifically for pacing and some of the characters, but it did not deserve the scores it was getting.
No, it got like 20 something.
If that.
Ugh, yeah, it was bad. Like compared to like all the other ratings for all the other Marvel shows, they're in the high 80s.
Yeah.
And then Iron Fist got, and you can notice
It is probably the worst of
Definitely.
the Marvel shows, but that doesn't mean it's 11% on Rotten Tomatoes worst. It's just not as good as the other ones is what I would say about it.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan, you watch any shows there, or favorite ones at least?
I'm watching right now. I'm watching Walking Dead. It's really funny because I haven't watched Walking Dead in forever. I watched the first 2 seasons and then I stopped. And everyone keeps telling me that I should watch it, and then I started watching it again. So I'm slowly going through the seasons, and I have to say, I enjoy it, even though it's kind of like the same principle.
I got some things to talk about with that show.
So I checked out at season 2 as well. I couldn't deal with the barn, just so boring. I was sitting down. I was at my dad's place watching TV with him, and we were watching the season finale of the latest season. That's a bad episode of television. Like, I don't know who they hired for like their action choreography, but it's like a huge gunfight between I think 2 factions, the main protagonist faction and the enemy faction that's trying to kill them all or whatever. I'm not sure.
That's
don't
2
tell
seasons ago.
too much.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the entire thing.
but anyways, there's this gunfight, and like I don't know who they hired for like the background of how a gunfight in this situation would work, but I'm just sitting there going like, well, okay, he hasn't reloaded this revolver in 37 shots, like stuff like that, like easy things that I can't just watch this scene and go like this.
Okay.
A tiger jumps out and kills somebody. Like what?
Oh, I think I heard about that. But reloading the revolver, that made me think of another 2 movies in the last 5 years in my top list is the John Wick.
John Wick.
John Wick.
John Wick 2.
Okay, we can't go too far into that
Okay,
because
yeah.
we'll be on here for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
But
Going
yeah,
back.
with Walking Dead, I stopped. Well, they're coming out slower on Netflix, so I think when the next season comes out, they release the last season. So I've only watched.
I don't know how many
So-
it's been now.
I don't know how many seasons.
I
there
think
are.
there's 6 seasons on Netflix right now.
Okay,
So
then
there's
I've
7.
then I've seen 6 seasons.
Okay.
So yeah, I won't spoil it. But
Thank
the one thing I really like is the introduction of Bob Giovanni's character. He plays Trevor from GTA 5.
Oh
Bob,
yes.
Bob Giovanni is so great, and he's in all like those Old Spice commercials now too. He's so funny.
He's a good character. I mean, for Walking Dead, I'm caught up. But you know what? I'm fizzled from that show. I'm kind of done. I watch it just to watch it, just to see. But I'm not excited for it. It's something to watch for me. The first 4 seasons were like pretty good. But it just kind of slowed down, and the formula is the same. I mean, the formula can keep going. They could kill off whoever's opposing them, move on, settle down, and the next person comes in. And I feel like they could do that forever until either like they don't shy away from killing off the main character. So I don't know how they're gonna end it. Maybe with a cure or something like that, or I don't know, they die.
They gotta go
But-
Left 4 Dead style and start introducing really messed up zombies.
Yeah,
Here
I don't
comes the
know.
boomer. Oh
Yeah.
I got grabbed by this
Did
big
they-
whip tongue.
they don't have weird zombies, do they? No.
Every so often, like I remember in
Strange.
season 2, they had like the water one who essentially became like a blob, and yeah,
Sort of.
I guess based on their environment, the zombies kind of change a bit because they're
Mm.
just like rotting.
But I mean, The
flesh.
Walking Dead, I feel like it's more about the the people than it is the zombies.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's more what the show's about. And I don't know. It's
Personally,
okay.
Yeah, personally, I think it should start going back into being about the zombies because that's initially what
Yeah.
made it so good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah.
they got to take a bit of a new turn.
Yeah. So there's another genre of television that I really like, and that genre is called anime.
Yeah.
This is the one that I'm new to.
So yeah, we talked about this a little bit, I think, in episode 1, where when we were talking about social stigmas, and that anime is new to some of us, old to some of us. It's great. So in my perfect world head, anime is, like I said, it's just another genre. It's a subgenre of television that has other subgenres. I feel like
Mhm.
I feel like
Yeah, that's-
anime has stories to tell that can only be told in that animated form.
I agree.
And you shouldn't count it out as a genre of television. Like, if I just woke up one day and was like, I'm not going to watch anything that says the word action on it, right? Like, maybe I don't like the action part of action films, but like maybe I'm a huge psychological thriller fan, and there's some psychological thrillers that happen within the action framework that I would just never get exposed to. I feel like anime is the same thing. Like, if you just blanket statement say, "Oh, I hate anime," like there's some amazing detective stories on anime. There's some amazing like hero going from zero to hero, literally stories of just that power fantasy, or a tale of brothers going through hardship and loss of family and their adventure. Like there's just so much.
There's an anime for anyone.
Yeah.
Literally, if you look hard enough, like there's an anime for you.
If you like sports, there's a basketball anime.
Yeah.
If you like
Or an ice skating anime.
if
there
you
you
like
go.
extremely masculine superheroes, have I got
There
a
you
show
go.
for you?
Number one hero, All Might.
I was talking about JoJo.
Oh,
That works too. But yeah, no, there's just so much in anime. And something that I think would be interesting to talk about is an anime that's been running highly contested isn't the word that I'm looking for, but I can't think of what it is. Highly sought after anime is a season 2 of an anime that we've been waiting for a long time that just
Like-
finished.
Super hyped.
Super hyped. Attack on Titan.
And I mean, it was hyped for the first season. And I believe everyone watched the first season. Yes.
Yeah.
Here, at least. And I hope we don't spoil anything for you guys, whoever's listening. But, I mean, the first season, when it came out, I believe, during the time, because I do watch anime, I slowed down. I'm starting to watch anime again. But during that time, I, slowed down anime, and there was a really big gap in terms of, content, in terms of anime. And then this show just came out of the frameworks, busted its head, and then just
like a titan through a wall
like a titan through a wall, and it's like, hello, and then everyone's like, what is this?
with a big titan grin.
And people were like, whoa, because I feel like this show, Attack on Titan, is so original.
Yeah, it really. So if you haven't watched Attack on Titan, if you're not an anime fan, we'll set the stage for you. The first season particularly takes place in this walled city, and there are 3 different walls. You guys remember the names of the walls? Maria, there's an
Rose?
Rose, and
Rose is the first one.
Trost? I don't
no,
remember.
Trost is the very first district.
Okay.
Anyways,
I don't know my Attack on Titan lore.
so it's
Very
this
well.
it's this walled city with the capital of the city being in the middle, and what's happening, and it's not really explained, but there are these giant humanoid creatures called Titans attacking the outer walls. So in this city, there are soldiers that are trained using this gear called omnidirectional movement gear. I think it's called, or omnidirectional movement something. And so it's this waistband that can shoot out these high tensile
Grapple hooks?
hooks, I guess, that'll allow them to kind of swing like Spider-Man a little bit. I guess Spider-Man's probably the closest analogy.
Yeah.
They also have 2 swords, and I love the swords because the swords are modeled after X-Acto knife blades,
Yeah.
where they can break off and then you can detach them and put new blades. It's really cool. And so these soldiers are killing these Titans and to keep the city safe. So the show opens with Trost District, which is this kind of separate walled off section right against the outer wall. That gets broken into by these Titans. These kids witness their parents dying, or their parents dying.
One of them, yeah.
It's it's convoluted, but there's one kid sees his parents die, and him and his friends vow to become soldiers to attack the Titans.
Attack on Titan.
Hey, and it's violent, it's gory, it's heartfelt. Like, especially season 2, man. I
know.
It was a special. I think one of the things you could compare it to was it was very much like a Game of Thrones feel.
I wouldn't
where-
say exactly Game of Thrones,
No,
but it's
no,
very,
not exactly,
very
but just more so in the sense where you get the feeling that no one is safe.
yes.
Any of
Yeah.
these main characters or side characters or any like they could just die at a moment's
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah, I mean, with Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark, spoilers for Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark dies, I didn't see that coming,
I didn't either.
and that to me would be the equivalent of Aaron dying at the end of season 1. So, I think it's a little bit more safe that like you know Aaron's gonna make it. I think. But
Well, who is the main character?
who's the main character? Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron is the main character.
Who's the boy who sees his parents his mom get eaten by a
Yeah, I
titan.
think there's technically 3 main characters, but
Yeah, Aaron, Mikasa, and
Armin.
Armin.
I don't. Yes.
But so anyways, the reason we bring this up is last episode we talked about us doing a quick spoiler cast for Attack on Titan. However, one of our part-time allies does not want to participate because he has not watched all of season 2.
Yep. So listeners, if you haven't seen season 2, put on your earmuffs right now, like I'm doing, so that you can't hear a thing.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to
Wait, I can still hear you guys.
You got to take the earbuds out. There you go. I'm going to set a timer for exactly 10 minutes
Okay.
when you hear the snap, okay? So on your podcast app, after you hear the snap, you can hit the fast forward button to go exactly 10 minutes and we'll stop, okay? So this is 10 minutes of season 2 Attack on Titan spoilers. I highly recommend if you listen to this section that you've watched season 1
watch it.
or you watch a little recap or something. Okay. And yeah, we'll go from there. So, okay, snapping on 3, 2, 1. The conduit.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Right?
Okay, season 2, you finally get some answers to questions, but those answers lead to 87 more questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I love this season, but it's so frustrating at times. It's like, just tell me, I want to know.
Yep. So I thought this season was a little slow, actually. And the first 3 quarters of the season, I felt like it kind of lost its legs a little bit. There were a few episodes where I'm going, what was the point of that episode?
Well, because it was 12 episodes, right? They'd have like 2 episodes that are really kind of slow, and then all of a sudden, like, something goes down, and it's like this big, colossal, if you will, episode,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, oh, it's quiet again for a couple more episodes, and then the bomb drops again, and it's crazy. They space it out pretty good in that way, but it's still, there's still a couple episodes where you're like, okay, they're still sitting in the trees, just kind of talking about whatever.
Yeah, so let's talk about the big bombs. We have,
The reveal of the Colossus.
the Colossal Titan is
And-
Berthold. The Armor Titan is
Reiner.
Reiner.
I knew it, Ryan.
And Ymir is also a Titan shifter. So
Yes.
Titan shifters, we find out, are people who can transform into Titans, just like Aaron, who was revealed
Yep.
at the end of season 1 to be able to turn into... Does his Titan have a name? Is he like the Fighting Titan or something?
Nah, I think there's a
I don't know.
name.
He's like the Rage Titan.
Yeah. So that's just like a what? Like there
Yeah.
are other people, and so Reiner and Berthold and Ymir have been going through the training with these kids for years to become
years.
Titan killers in the army, and all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, by the way, we've been killing hundreds
So-
of our friends.
When I was watching that episode with Ryan,
Yeah.
and
And I told AJ, I'm like, watch the screen because you'll miss it. You literally, if you blink, you'll miss it because it's just that it zooms out and there's a conversation happening
Yeah.
on the wall with Reiner.
if there wasn't a dub, if it wasn't a dub, and if
Yeah.
it was English, it would just be, a scene, and then them on the side, and them talking.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
act the scene out, okay? You're
Okay.
going to be Aaron,
Okay.
and Ryan and I are going to be Berthold and Reiner, okay?
Okay, I'll be
Okay.
Reiner.
Okay, you be Reiner, okay?
Aaron, we need to talk to you.
Why do you want to talk to me?
You see, we wanted to wage war on humanity, and Berthold is the Colossal Titan, and I'm the Armor Titan.
Haha, you guys are funny.
Okay, see you later. and then walk off scene.
That was the scene.
That's
And-
it.
Yeah.
And it was zoomed out and kind of off to the side, like, oh, they're just kind of having a conversation that doesn't mean anything. But if you're watching the sub and if you just kind of stop paying attention for a second, you will actually miss it because it's so nonchalantly
It's so
done.
nonchalant,
I
and I love it. I don't know why I love
just
that
like-
so
seems cool.
much.
Oh yeah, we waged war on humanity. And it's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah,
Yeah, no.
Bert Holt is the colossal titan and I'm the armored. Oh,
Like
what?
you're the reason my mother's dead and everyone else is dead, and why we're here right now. Like
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing.
But that's the other. Okay, this is kind of jumping to the next reveal, because Emir's not necessarily on their side. She
No.
kind of helps them out.
she's a gray.
it's revealed that Ymir's on Ymir's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's revealed that Ymir used to be like a mindless titan. Like she
Mhm.
used to be a normal one, and when she ate
She ate Reiner and Bert Holt's friend while they were traveling,
and
Yes.
then
and then became a Titan shifter. So the theory is that if a wild Titan eats a Titan shifter, they then become a Titan shifter.
the question is, if like 5 titans are chowing down on one titan shifter.
Oh yeah, can you split it up? That's kind of a cool idea. I
Well,
don't know.
because that's another thing I'm curious about, because there was a battle on the tower that happened at night, and the one female soldier,
yes,
she got like a couple wounds or
she
whatever,
got some cuts.
but then and they show it so like
Very quick.
so briefly. Steam rises
Yeah.
up from the cut,
Shh, and it disappears.
and
Oh, I didn't notice that.
You didn't
and you-
notice that?
No.
and you think, oh my goodness, is she a Titan shifter too? But then she gets chowed on by like 10 different Titans pulling her apart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
So you got to wonder, are those ones going to turn into Titan shifters?
Maybe. Like, do they turn into their old person? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, because I'm assuming they turn back into who they were. It's also kind of revealed that something bad happens to you that makes you become a Titan.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what it is yet.
No, there's a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. But something happened to Ymir. She got cast out from a society or something for being, I don't know if she was like a witch or a goddess or like she was being preyed to.
She was a homeless person at first.
Yeah, and then somebody took her in and was like, okay, you're going to represent and be like the queen of our cult.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
weird. And then she gets cast out of the city. In the process of her being cast out, she gets transformed into a Titan. We don't really know how
They-
that works
they-
yet.
Something goes wrong, and they're like, okay, let's kill her. And then they push her off something, and it ends there.
Yeah.
And you think she's going to die, but somehow she gets powers. I don't know. She
Yeah.
gets...
Well, no,
So-
she doesn't get powers. She just becomes like one of the
Yeah.
mindless Titans.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't know how that happens yet.
We don't
but, maybe we'll find out. The last thing I want to talk about is the conduit. So
Right.
Also, I'm just gonna step out on a limb here. The last episode is the best episode of the season.
Okay.
I think for 2 reasons. One, Historia, who is oh my goodness, what's her original name?
Krista.
Krista.
Corista.
So Krista is revealed to be Historia, daughter of the clergy of the walled city.
Yeah,
I
the
suppose.
church.
The church, yeah. And there's something weird going on with her. She was kind of disowned at birth, took the name Krista. Ymir tells her that her name is Historia. Whatever. Anyways, the only reason I bring that up is because there's a scene where she jumps onto Ymir's head and is charging after a Titan or something. And then she's like, when I'm with you, I have no fear. And like goes into this super cool
Oh, yeah.
ballerina move off of, oh my
I
goodness.
remember that.
I've watched that scene like 7 times. It's so cool.
She's pretty cute.
Also, the captain of the military,
Oh,
honorable mention, him getting his arm chewed off and then
Edwin?
still fighting Edwin. Oh,
Edwin. I don't know.
he is a hero.
Erwin.
Edwin.
But no, the thing that makes that episode the best episode of the season is Mikasa and Aaron's talk. They're pretty much resigned themselves to death. Aaron is like destroying his hands because the way he's turning into a Titan is by cutting himself, and he normally does it by biting the area kind of where his thumb connects to his hand. And he's just gnawing on both hands. He can't turn
do
back
it.
into a Titan
Can't do it.
to save Mikasa.
No, to save Hans. Oh,
Yeah,
Well, to save all of them, really, because they're kind of surrounded at that point. And while this is happening, Mikasa is basically like confessing her love to him in this like
Sorta.
weird. She moves
Kinda.
in, she moves in for a kiss at the end, right?
Yeah, she's totally slowly going in, but then Aaron gets his like stubbornness of like, I'm not giving up, and he stands up. He's like, we're gonna save this for later. I'll wrap that
Yeah.
scarf around you as much as you
yeah,
want.
because the last thing she says is like, I want, or like, you wrapped this scarf around me and like basically told me who I was as a person. And then he like wipes his tears, stands up, says, I'm gonna wrap that scarf around you as many times as you want. His fingers grow back. He like slams his fists together, and the Titan who ate his mother
Yep.
stands up, who's the one who just ate Hans, and comes to attack them. And he punches her. And so I read theories about why this happens at this point, but he punches her as just normal Aaron, punches her in the hand. You see this shock go to all the other Titan shifters in the area, and then all of a sudden, the Titan in the background kind of goes, huh? Looks up, and then just, I can't remember if Aaron, I think Aaron does another punch or something like in the air, and you just see the Titan in the background go, whoa!
And they all dive. Like every single Titan
just
in the area.
rip her
Well,
apart.
but that's the crazy thing, because Titans are insanely strong. He blocks a punch as a human
Yeah.
against her Titan punch.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Reiner drops the bomb of whatever it is being called the conduit,
Yeah.
which sounds like the ability
Which
to
is the
control
reason why
Titans.
they want him.
Yeah. Although it sounds like in that conversation, Reiner didn't know he had the conduit until that moment. He
Yeah.
seemed so
Yeah,
surprised.
he was
about
like,
it.
"Are you kidding me? The one person to have the
It's
conduit
true.
is
Yeah.
him."
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So we've only got 40 seconds left. The last thing
Yeah,
that we
the
want to talk
Beast
about
Titan.
is the Beast Titan. A man, you can see the steam coming off the Beast Titan, implying that the man who was in the Beast Titan has
Is it
risen up.
his father?
So I had to look up who it was.
Oh no.
I just couldn't let myself not know. So I'm not going to
Oh.
tell you who it is,
Okay.
but do you guys want to know his name?
Sure.
Zeke. Zeke.
All right.
Zeke the Beast.
He pushes his glasses up and then he goes, what does he say? Like, it's not time yet or something?
He's like, "Oh, I guess I'll have to wait another time."
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, I guess
So-
speculations for that.
And season 3 is confirmed for next year.
Spoilers off.
Spoilers off.
Yeah, we're not talking about any more season 2 spoilers. If you guys have tuned out, you can hear me talking about no spoilers right now and know that it is safe to jump back in.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, season 3 confirmed for 2018. We don't have to wait for. Not that I waited 4 years because I'm new to
I know.
anime, but we don't have to wait 4 years for Attack on Titan season 3.
Yeah, because when I watched it, like I said, 4 years ago or whatever, and then I had to wait forever. And then, when did you start watching anime? Last year?
Yeah, last year, but I think I didn't watch Attack on Titan until January. So I only waited 4 months until
Yeah,
season
it's-
2 came out.
I was just like, hey, let's start this anime. Why not? And then there you go. Now we're on watch season 2. Now we're hyped for season 3. So I'm glad it got announced for season 3 for
Yeah.
next year.
Well, while we're still on the topic of anime, I guess we could kind of address the email about recommendations for those who are new to anime.
Right.
Have you guys ever played the Attack on Titan Unity game? I don't know if that was brought up while I was away, but
No.
No, we only talked about
But-
season 2.
Yes, I have.
all right. Listeners, if you like Attack on Titan and you've never tried this, it's pretty fun. It's a good way to spend your time.
Yeah. And that being said, going into recommendations, Attack on Titan is probably a really good recommendation.
Yeah. If you don't like anime, then I feel like Attack on Titan is like, on that very sense, like we talked about Game of Thrones. Like it's very on that level. So if you like Game of Thrones, I mean, won't necessarily like Attack on Titan, but I feel like Attack on Titan is a good recommendation, a good starter.
Yeah. You also don't have a weak stomach
That's
if you
true.
watch that one. But yeah, kind of going into other recommendations. I know the first one I watched recently was One Punch Man. Or sorry, not recently. But that was like one of the first ones I watched to get into anime. And I mean that it's nice because it's not your typical anime, because it's very on the nose and very meta, and it knows what it is and it knows what it's doing, and it's just so funny and kind of makes fun at some of the like typical anime tropes by just avoiding them altogether.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's one of my recommendations. AJ, I know you have a favorite one that is a favorite of mine as well.
Is it? Are we talking about Full Metal?
We were talking about Full Metal.
Okay, but like from honestly, is that a good anime to start out with?
I would say so.
I mean, here's the thing about Full Metal. It's like 64 episodes, 64. Yeah, 64, I think. And it is my favorite anime of all time. And I feel like, yeah, it might be a good starter, but the length of it is quite hefty.
Yeah.
But I feel like, the reason why I would even say it's a good starter is because it has an amazing dub. And so if you don't know what dub is, it's the English version of the anime. And it's one of the best dubs, or the best dub out there. And it's perfect. Like
Yeah.
each character is perfect.
Yeah. It's so well done.
It's mature.
Yeah. And I've recently like rewatched a few of the earlier episodes.
Yep.
And one of the things that I didn't realize the first time watching it, so it's got this whole huge overarching story that is amazing, but it kind of has its like 2 to 3 episode individual arcs going on as like things are happening. So you could just watch like 3 episodes and then like, okay, I'm gonna like take a few weeks off of this or whatever, and then come back to it and then watch like another few episodes till the end of that arc. But there is this whole overarching story that draws you in,
That's
and
true.
you just can't get enough of.
I want to roll back a little bit here and real quick talk about One Punch Man and what's it about. So then people, if they do want to watch it, so just quickly what it's about, and then we can talk about what Full Metal is all about
Yeah.
for recommendations.
Yeah. So One Punch Man is it's this superhero anime about this guy named Saitama, who is the One Punch Man, and it's this world of superheroes, and they all kind of they become like hired by the government.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. They become hired by the government to work and be heroes to
Kill enemies.
get rid of threats and monsters and things that are going on. And yeah, Saitama wants to become one of these, and he's easily the strongest character to ever exist.
Yep.
But everyone thinks he's a bit of a fraud and a bit of a joke, and no one takes him seriously. And like, oh, they're like, he's probably faking all this. And it's like, no, he actually is just the best.
So, like the title says, one punch.
He can destroy things with one punch.
And I think that's all we need to give you.
See,
it's super funny.
You know what? I'm the other way on this, actually.
Okay.
When I was told that One Punch Man was a someone described it to me as an anime about a superhero who kills everything in one punch.
Right.
And I thought, that sounds like the most boring show I've ever heard of.
Okay.
And in a sense, it kind of the
Yeah.
one punchness of One Punch Man does make him boring.
Yes.
The fact that but the trope of the show and the reason it's so good is because he knows it's boring. It's boring to him.
Yeah.
He's so like there's an episode where he
right.
has a dream, right? And his dream is where the mole men come out of the ground, and it actually poses a challenge for him, and he's so hyped, he's so into it, he finally gets his energy back. And then the alarm goes off and he wakes up and realizes that, oh, this was all fake.
Yeah.
And then the mole men actually do show up and he destroys one of them and they go hide on the ground.
Yeah.
But no, the real meat and potatoes behind this show is a man. It's Saitama's story as a man who's dealing with the fact that, he is the strongest thing that exists in the universe. And he's more concerned about missing the sale for groceries and his struggle with dealing with things like that, right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of that coin is Genos' story, who's kind of Saitama's sidekick, more or less. And he's also a very powerful hero, but not the most powerful. And seeing him go through his journey of realizing Saitama is the strongest hero ever and wanting to learn from him,
Yeah.
but also realizing that he's kind of an idiot and not I don't know. There's some good dynamics there. It's a great show. It just
an
wasn't.
amazing show.
It wasn't going to be what I thought it was about when it was initially described to me. So
That's very true, and I think that show has so much depth for what it is. And I guess I forgot to mention it has so much depth and so much personality. And like Josh said, yeah, it sounds boring, but when you watch it, you understand. Like once you watch it, you understand what we mean.
Yeah.
yeah, like the best fight scene in the entire show is a fight scene where it's. I'm not going to just spoil too much of it, but it's Saitama versus Genos. They have a training fight, and it's the best fight because Saitama never hits him,
No.
right? But just the interaction of what's happening there and what's going on. Oh, it's so good. I had an anime actually that I think is a great starting anime.
Okay, what's it about? What
Because-
is it?
Because
what's it about?
it's the most close to actual television, I suppose,
Okay,
and it's Steins Gate.
right.
So Steins Gate, and also the dub is fantastic. So if you don't want to read subtitles, there's a dub over of great English voice actors. So Steins Gate is a show about time travel. It's about a scientist who kind of is a recluse in his office or whatever. He has a few friends locally, and he's trying to invent time travel. And the show's not very long. I think it's maybe a dozen or so episodes, maybe 20. I can't remember. And just so good. It falls into two of the anime weird trope things it does at one point, which are a little whatever, but is as a first like a transition from like a regular drama to an anime drama. I think it's as smooth as a curve as you're gonna get, in my opinion.
And what's it about?
Time travel.
There you go.
Time travel's cool.
Yeah. Sorry. One other recommendation I have, real quick. Mostly because it's very much a feel good anime, and I feel like it's easy to draw people in that way. And it's another superhero one. It's called My Hero Academia.
Super hype right now.
Super hype. Yeah. It's a really good show. It's lots of people kind of compare it to if there was a school in the One Punch Man universe. It's essentially this world where 80% of people have what they call a quirk, or if you're an X-Men fan, it's a mutation basically.
Yeah.
So they have some kind of ability, but some of the abilities are, like I can change my skin color. I can't really become a hero with that, but it's like I can be bright green or something like that. Or I could look at something and it turns into a box. Or I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Just like some are really weird and it's hard to apply them to being a hero. But the ones that do have hero applications try and go to this hero school, right?
Yeah, like one of the main ones is his name is All Might, and he's essentially a less cheap version of Superman.
Yeah,
because he's really, really strong and like everything, but he doesn't he doesn't fly, he doesn't have laser vision, he doesn't have cold breath. He's kind of, I would compare him more to the Hulk just because he's purely strength, and if he really wants to put himself into it, he can throw down even harder.
Yeah. The thing that really stands out for My Hero Academia as opposed to like an X-Men, I was going to say an X-Men, is the way that they describe their powers working are so cool. Like Bakugo is one of the main characters in the show, and he can create explosions, right? And a lot of the time that's where superhero definitions of their powers stop. But they go into it. They go like, he's creating explosions by like actually excreting sweat, and he's causing the sweat to ignite. And then when he builds his superhero costume, he builds it around containing some of the sweat so he can shoot it off in bigger blasts. Like, some of that stuff is so cool. I don't know. I really love the detail that they go into it there.
Yeah, and I also like too how, because if you're watching kind of an X-Men show or something, they kind of have their power and that's it, and they can just kind of use their power to no end. This one you realize, like some of them can't keep their power. Like the one guy, he has an ice and fire ability, but if he uses his ice too much, he actually starts to get cold himself and start to freeze over. So he can't overuse it. So it's a really cool dynamic with the show.
Yeah, that character in particular, Todoroki.
Yeah,
I kind of want to talk about him a little bit because he's a great character where his like you said, his left side is ice and his right side is fire, or vice versa.
Vice versa.
Vice versa. So his right side is fire, right side is ice, left side is fire.
Yeah.
And because of the freezing over, he can use the fire on his right side to counteract it, right?
Yeah.
But he has an internal struggle going on that makes him not want to use his right side, and the story behind it makes it really cool. And there's a lot of.
So before we get too far, what's the main plot of this anime so we can recommend?
The main plot is, if you, let's not focus on who's essentially the main character.
No, I think sorry.
Yeah, the main plot is, it's just basically a class of students trying to become professional heroes.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like they're going to Xavier School for the Gifted Youngsters.
Yeah. And the I will say the protagonist revolves around a boy that doesn't have a quirk. So he's trying to get into the superhero school without a power. And there's some stuff that happens around there, but it's compelling. It's a good story.
It's
Yeah.
a very good feel good.
Yeah.
So I have a good recommendation, and I think it makes sense because they're actually making like an American adaptation to it. It's called Death Note, and I watched this a long time ago, but it's basically about
Like what Josh said, it's a psychological thriller.
it's a psychological
It
thriller.
really is.
It really is, and it puts you on on your seat like the whole time. So it's about this kid named Light, and a book falls from the sky, and he picks it up, and it's black, and it just says Death Note. And the instructions are, if you write someone's name in the book, and you think of their face, so then you don't, mess up anyone else's name. You have to think of their face when you do it. You write it in, and then the Death Note will kill them. And I think there's a time limit. And if you can write instructions on how they die, but if you don't, they die of heart attack. So you can write instructions on how they die, and if you don't do it, they die of heart attack, and that's basically that anime. So this kid picks up this Death Note, and he kind of plays with it, I guess. And the reason why I fell out of the sky is because there's this giant like evil Shinigami, I guess, death god, and he kind of just loses it. But it's basically just about a kid who finds a book about killing someone, and the morals behind that.
Yeah.
I think that's really compelling because I feel like that's super original. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely kind of poses the question to you, like,
Yeah,
if you got this, what are you going to do with it?
exactly. Would you use it, right?
Yeah.
And,
And what would you use it for?
exactly. And I think I like that anime because it plays with that moral compass of who you are, and it also plays with the character and who he is, and a couple other characters. So I'll give you that. And I mean, I think that's good enough for a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One quick side note before we want to transition to our next segment here. But something that I remember before I switched into anime was I watched Gundam a lot on TV as a kid. It just
Yeah.
happened to be on all the time.
Yeah.
On I don't remember, YTV, I guess was the cartoon channel we had. It was on all the time, and it was always a little too serious for me. I wanted to be having more fun. And then I discovered Gurren Lagann when I got back into anime.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not an anime you should start with unless you're into mech anime and enjoy Gundam a little bit. But that show's a great it's a farce on mech anime, like One Punch Man is a farce on superheroes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Then I might like it then.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
AJ, it's on Netflix actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Worth a watch
Easy
for
to
sure.
consume.
It's actually one quick last thing. It's funny when you realize that Attack on Titan is slowly turning into organic mechs.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Yep. But anyways, so we're going to move on to our regular storytime segment, and today we're featuring Jourdain. So Jourdain, you told us the title of your story. It was confusing. Please share your story with the audience.
Yeah, this was back when I was a young kid. I must have been around 9 or 10 years old. And I started playing video games at a young age. I probably was around 4, 5, 6 years old when I started playing with video games. And we had went on a trip up to Manning Park. And this is about an hour and a half from where we live in the Fraser Valley in British Columbia. And we normally spend about a week in this cabin. And it's always cold and there's snow everywhere. So I'm just painting the picture for all of you. It's this cold place in this cabin that's far away. It's about 30 minutes away from the actual trail or the ski lifts, and we stay a week there. We drive up. I bring my Super Nintendo. That's the console that I played with the most. I brought that up, and I brought a few games. And there was this one night I was playing Mega Man. Mega Man X was probably one of my favorite games, but it was very frustrating because it was a pretty hardcore game. You needed to be very you needed a lot of patience, and you needed to study all of the environments and going through everything. Anyway, I got very frustrated, and I can't remember the exact swear word I said, but my parents didn't like kids swearing. And I was around 9, 10 years old, and I said, I can't remember if I said the F word. I don't think it was the F word. It was a bit toner than that. I think it was the S word. And anyway, my father heard me say that when I was playing video games, and he got so upset. I remember he grabbed my arm, and then we went into the bathroom, and he's like, I'm going to have to clean your mouth. And he grabbed the bar of soap.
Actually,
Yeah, yeah. And he cleaned my mouth with the bar of soap. And I remember like, oh man, this bar of soap tastes nasty. And after that, I never really swore again. And, it taught me a lesson. But I remember at that time I was pretty upset about that. But I still continued playing Mega Man, and I still got frustrated. But I didn't swear this time. I was just like, oh, shoot.
Darn.
so you actually got your mouth scrubbed with soap.
Yeah. It's not a pleasant experience. If you do want to experience this, there's a more mild way of doing it. You could buy these little pieces of gum. They're purple. They're purple little tablets, and they taste exactly like soap, and they are disgusting. I don't know why people even buy these. I don't even know why they exist.
Sponsor.
Yeah, there you go. You could buy these purple little
these purple
tablets.
pieces of gum.
Yeah.
I think this actually leads into an interesting conversation about anger in video games. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I know AJ kind of knows this.
Mm-hmm.
I get mad.
Oh, I know this too.
Yeah.
I've watched you play Smash Bros before.
It specifically happens in competitive games, but I get so mad that after I'm done being mad, I'm actually disappointed in myself about how mad I got. Like, I don't know if it's competitive spirit or what, but have you guys felt that? Is there something that, like in Jordan's story?
Do. I feel like when I, just going back to Dota, I definitely did feel a lot of anger at the beginning, but you kind of get used to it and you kind of just let it go, and you're just like, well, you know what, it was fun, and we're just having fun. It's not really what I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm not going to be a competitive player and actually do that, so I don't really need to take it super seriously. But you get so passionate about a certain game, especially if you're competitive and you really want to win, and if you see that other people aren't necessarily on the same page with you, it could be frustrating. And that's where the anger comes from. And then you just learn, it's like, okay, well, if I'm playing with them, it's just going to be for fun.
Yeah, speaking of Dota 2, so oh boy, I played a lot of Dota 2, and over the years of playing the game, I tried to be the competitive person. We tried to make teams all the time. AJ and Jordan, I think, were part of some of those.
Yep.
And yeah,
I'm like 3 years sober now, so we're good.
Yeah,
like 2 years sober now.
I'm a year off now.
Sober.
Yeah. It's been 2 years.
I love talking about like a drug because it totally was.
It was.
And because when you're playing that game, there's nothing like the feeling you get when you're winning. Yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing like it. You and 4 of your friends just bested 5 other people on the internet. You spent 40 minutes doing it. It was a hard fought battle, and you got there. And
it's one of the most pleasing cooperative games I've ever played.
like the first 100 hours, I would say I put into Dota were amazing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They were the first shot of heroin. Right? Like I was in there. And
sorry.
And then a lot of AJ got me into it. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for giving me that needle of heroin.
Sorry.
And then a lot of time later, I just got more and more angry. Like I said a lot of hurtful things to people that I care about. Like it was bad. We
got to a point where we said, whatever we say in Dota, we don't really mean, so don't take it to heart. I remember we had that rule because things did get pretty heated from time to time. But, it's the same thing as sports. If you're winning in sports, you get the exact same high as you do when you're playing Dota. Yeah. So it's pretty well the exact same thing.
Yeah, and let me tell you, as someone who played basketball in college, people get angry.
I think you know exactly how we feel then.
Oh,
I know
exactly.
Yeah,
we know exactly what you feel.
Like, I hate the term esports because it's never going to sound like sport. I don't know. It's bad. It's a bad term.
Sounds bad to me.
But it really is a subset of sports. Like you get a lot of the same emotion, a lot of the same competitiveness. The team highs, the team lows. It's understandable. As somebody who didn't like sports growing up as a kid, Dota really made me appreciate what sports are.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
even just too, like for me playing some single player games, man, I'm ready to throw something through the freaking wall.
See, this is where we differ because I remember my first playthrough of Dark Souls, and I was totally like, yeah, it was tough, but I got through it. You talked to me a lot about your first playthrough of Dark Souls, and boy, do you not sound happy about it.
Well, my first true experience with a game like that was when Bloodborne came out.
Right, yeah.
And I swear I made Josh mad with some of the texts I was sending him. He essentially, I think it got to the point where you were pretty much like texting me like, and just put it down and don't play it. And I was like,
Yeah, because
but
my philosophy on the Soulsborne games are that they're a skill. They're a skill you acquire. It's like for me,
Mhm.
they're almost exactly like learning an instrument. Like you're gonna suck for a long time,
Yeah.
but like you just showed me today. Ryan came over to my place today and just I have a 4-string banjo. You just picked it up and started doodling around, right? That banjo is to acoustic guitar what Bloodborne is to Dark Souls. Like it's a little different, but it's the same setup. I can just pick up one of those games and start playing it. It's like I just like I feel like that's the best analogy I've ever done in my life. Maybe I don't know, but mediocre at best. But yeah, it's one of those things where you're gonna be frustrated and you're gonna be frustrated and you're gonna be frustrated and then it'll click and then all of a sudden you'll go through all those games like nothing.
yeah. Those are, and like those are the same for everyone. Like those are very much anger trigger games. But
Mhm.
I know one of the other ones that I have is and it's probably up there as one of my favorite games of all time, but it still makes me so mad is Super Mario World. Oh boy, do I get frustrated playing that game.
That's a weird one.
That is a
Well,
weird
because like there's times where I'm like going through and I'm like, I have to do this a certain way, and I mess something up just in the slightest, and I die, and I just want to break my DS because it's on the what's it called, the Retro Store,
Oh, Virtual Console.
Sure.
Virtual Console. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, DS has lots of those old titles on there, and that's one of them. And yeah, I love the game, but sometimes I really don't. So when going back to Jordane's story, getting soap washed in your mouth, I can understand why you just want to say some pretty bad things when you get in those moods.
It's pretty powerful that a video game's able to give you that emotion of frustration, because I live a pretty calm life. Like nothing really phases me that much. But then if I'm really passionate about a game and I'm really into the story, and if I'm at a part where it's really frustrating, I'm like, I get pretty upset.
Oh, wow. Because it's experience, right?
Yeah.
Video games are an experience. So
Yeah. When you break it
Makes
down,
sense.
it does make it sound kind of dumb too. It's like I'm getting mad at this picture that is on a flat screen.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's not how your brain interprets it.
I know,
Like
but if you're just breaking it down so literally,
Well, and that's where a bit of that stigma comes from, right? Like
yeah,
backing this way up, when people see you getting mad at the screen because that's what they're seeing, right? They go, "That's like, what is this guy doing?"
yeah.
But it's the experience for
It's
sure.
definitely the experience.
But
that
yeah,
goes
and
on.
and it's same for like people who are woodworkers. Like they might accidentally mess up getting something in for like the for the proper joint or something like that, and they just get so frustrated. And you're like, I don't know, just kind of looks like a bunch of wood stabbed together. Like doesn't look any different to me. Doesn't look like you messed up.
So there's parallels, guys.
It's
We're-
almost like there's a lot of similarities in things in life.
It's
Weird.
Almost
Wow.
like everybody is the same in some kind of way.
Wait, what?
In our own unique ways.
It's almost like we're not all snowflakes.
It's almost
Wow.
like we should be able to relate to each other and not hate on everything we do.
Wow. Profound.
Very profound.
I like it. Speaking of profound, something is something ever.
Ooh, good segue.
This week we are talking about how are we going to word this? The mostest awkward dialogue ever in video games.
Mostest.
Mostest awkward dialogue ever. This
Who
was a
wants-
weird one. This was tough.
This was really tough.
So there's one person in this room is a memory savant when it comes to quotes. I am not that person. So
Who is that person?
it's you.
Oh.
I've heard you and a mutual friend of ours like almost quote an entire movie.
But okay, that's the thing. I had a real hard time
Which I
with
find
this
funny.
one because I don't really necessarily remember dialogue from video games as much.
Makes sense. Because
Because
there's so much content.
yeah, and because because like you're playing through it, like you're a part of it, whereas opposed to a movie, like I'm watching it and absorbing like the dialogue and everything, like everything about it. But yeah, with this one, I had a hard time, and gonna be honest, guys, mine probably isn't that great. It just seemed really funny to me.
Well, let's do a reverse clockwise thing, starting with AJ.
Me?
What do you got?
So I couldn't really pinpoint an awkward dialogue, but not recently, but maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I was trying to pinpoint, but I was playing Oblivion again on PS3. And you guys are already laughing about it. So I remember watching this thing about how Oblivion set up this called Radiant NPC system or Radiant system. Like boasting their system about all these NPCs have their own life and they can walk around
Yeah.
and they have their own personalities and they'll talk to people and they'll greet you, stuff like that. And then I remember walking up and this lady coming out of the store, and then she goes up to this Khajiit who's like a cat guy, and they're like, "Hello, greetings." So you heard about that mud crab across the way? Yeah, they're like they're nasty buggers. And then the Khajiit's like, "Yeah, they have sharp claws. You don't want to go near them. Good day." And then she's like,
Yeah,
Yes,
she knew
seeing you.
the pickup line didn't work.
Yeah,
That's why it's trying
and
to
then
get out fast
and then
as
2
possible.
seconds later, they walk down just a little bit, and then I was like, "Hello, greetings," and they do it again, and they talk about, I think they talk about goblins, and then he says another quip like, "Yeah, they're nasty teeth," and they keep going, and it's so weird because because I think it's just like they talk about it, and then they're just like, "Good day," and they leave. And I think that's so weird and awkward.
Yeah, they're not very people-like.
No, and it's funny. The funny thing is that Oblivion, they boasted how great their, Oblivion came out like what, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
11.
Oh my goodness. So, it's funny how they boasted all this like great NPC stuff and stuff like that happens. But I mean, it is of the system. But I think it was funny. Oh, what was that?
A mystery.
Spoilers.
Okay, spoilers. All right.
Spoilers for Josh's dialogue.
Okay, so that's pretty much mine. Honorable mention really is, it's sort of, I don't know if it's on topic, but there is this like really bad MMO game trailer that I watched not too while back, and it was this really bad MMO about like Greek mythology, and it was just really bad broken English about like about Greek gods and stuff, and it's just so bad.
Broken English about Greek gods.
Yeah. Oh, Athena. And it was just really bad. It was just really bad. And, that's it. That's it. All right.
Awesome. What about you, Ryan?
Okay, so mine, I also have an honorable mention I just remembered, but I'm going to get to the main one first because the honorable mention is more in line with the question, because this one, the one that I like the most is more about the situation made it awkward, like for the story and everything. So it was in Skyrim. And so
Haha, Bethesda.
Bethesda at it again.
2 for 2.
There you go.
So yeah, when you go to the Bean Barb for in Riften for I think it was a Thieves Guild mission, you have to talk to the one Argonian woman at the bar named Kirava, and her husband run the place.
Yes.
And
I
her husband
remember
is
this.
Talon
Yeah.
J. And I think you talk to him first. He's like, "Oh, talk to my wife, Kirava, at the bar." And I had this conversation with him, and I'm like, "Okay." And he gets up and walks with me, and he sits down right beside the bar. But it was just the like what his NPC was supposed to, like, just going through like random walkthroughs of the bar, and he just happened to sit right by where his wife was. And then you go talk to his wife, and you have to like threaten his wife, and you're like threatening her. It's like, you better give me like the secret for this or whatever, and she's like, okay, just don't tell my husband. And he's sitting right there. And I'm like, oh, you should have said that a little bit quieter. He's looking right at us. But it's a Skyrim game, so
Yeah, those Bethesda games have some emergent situations that are just like this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense, but it happens.
yeah. My honorable mention, it makes me cringe every time. It was from NBA 2K16. They have a My Career mode, but for NBA 2K16 was the first time they had kind of a story to the My Career mode. Like, it had cutscenes and stuff, and it was directed by like Spike Lee did all of it, and it was really weird because your character is like, he's nicknamed Frequency Vibrations. Yeah. And his nickname is Freak, Freq, and like the kind of oh, it's so dumb. Like, the kind of tagline that he always does is freaking and vibing, and that comes up so much, and like so many of the characters, like, they'll be in this stupid like just random conversation with another character, and they're like, yeah, freaking and vibing, and I'm like,
Oh no.
this is painful. And the other part that makes it awkward is like the whole family and all the actors and everything are African American. So the family in the game is African American. I am a white male from Canada, so I typically make my character to look like me. So my family is this African American family, and I'm white, and I have a twin sister who's not white.
Freaking and vibing.
Freaking and vibing.
Freaking and vibing.
They didn't just tell you, but you were adopted.
Yeah, you were. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry
no,
to say.
that's the funny part, because they even
Twin sister.
yeah, with a twin, because they even tell stories of like, oh yeah, when he was in the womb, I could feel him freaking and vibing. Like, that's why.
No.
Like,
Oh,
I
that's
could
so
feel
bad.
I could feel the vibe. Like, that's how he got the nickname, was because like he was the son was specifically kicking a lot and making lots of vibrations for her, and it was like, okay,
Good
But,
vibrations.
yeah. So those are my two. Jordan.
All right, I only have the one, and this was Final Fantasy X.
Oh.
Now you know what it is.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That is the number one
that
for
is
me.
the number one. This,
You're right.
I remember
Ah.
I was young, and I was really, I watched the scene, and anyone that played Final Fantasy X knows what I'm
was so
talking about.
Bad.
And what it was Titus and Yuna. They were having a moment on this balcony. I can't remember exactly what for,
Oh no.
but Titus was trying to cheer up Yuna, and he's like, "You know what I do when I'm feeling upset? Sometimes I'll just scream out laughing." And it was the most awkward laugh ever, because he was like, "Ha ha 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 ha
ha ha
and then Yuna's like, "Oh, let me give it a try." And she's like, "Ha."
Ha,
And Titus
ha,
like, "No, you gotta go like, ha ha ha." And then she started going, she's like, "Ha ha 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 ha."
But that's how it sounds like.
That's what it
Oh
was like.
my goodness.
It was super awkward. I was like watching this scene. I was like,
It goes on for a good 3 to 4 minutes.
yeah, it's pretty awkward, and I'll always remember that moment because of its awkwardness.
I'm just picturing two people standing alone in a room with one person watching, and they're just laughing like idiots at each other.
Well, the thing is, they're in public.
They were in public.
Their party was just behind them.
Yep.
Oh
So
my goodness.
it was pretty bad, and the voice acting and that was pretty bad. It was like their worst of that,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first Final Fantasy that did voice acting. So
I think the actors were probably feeling pretty awkward doing this scene too, because it felt awkward watching it. Like, I feel like they could have pulled it off if
Google it,
their laughs
or
were.
YouTube, yeah, Titus and Yuna
Balcony
laughing
scene.
scene. It's bad.
Yeah. How about you, Josh?
Let me set a scene for you.
Oh no.
You're in the first floor of a hotel. There's nobody there. All of the tables where you would normally be having lunch are tucked into the corner. Chairs are upside down, sitting on them. However, there's one table that's about 50 feet long, regular width, but 50 feet long, in the center. You are Detective Francis York Morgan. You walk into the hotel, and an old lady greets you. She seats you at a table.
Good morning, Mr. Morgan. Your breakfast is ready for you.
What the heck?
The audio is not mixed properly.
Thank you, Mrs.
Polly Oxford. Just Polly is fine.
Well then. Thank you, Polly. I'm starving.
She rolls up her sleeves. They sit at opposite
Is
ends of the
everything all
table.
right, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, it's delicious, Polly. My compliments to the chef.
I'm hoping my cooking will bring back repeat guests. Honestly, though, it's been a while since anyone has stayed here.
I couldn't help but notice.
I like how
Aside from
sturdy
you
he
and
said
me,
that.
there seems to be no other guests or workers around.
What's that? The salt's in that white shaker there.
Thank you. I was wondering if there were any other guests or workers here.
Oh, no one else. My husband and I used to run this place, but he's in heaven now.
You've been working here alone since then. Must be hard by yourself.
Oh my, we're all out of pepper. I'm very sorry.
It must be difficult to run a hotel by yourself.
Well, yes, I suppose. I could just live on my pension. But I have to admit, running a hotel is kind of like a hobby of mine.
That's nice. Polly, it might help to hear you better if you could sit a little closer.
Finally.
Oh my, Mr. Morgan, you're embarrassing me. So early in the day, too. I think I'm a little too old for you. And I still love my departed husband. May God rest his soul. I appreciate the invitation, but I'm fine over here.
Polly, I can hardly hear you from all the way over there.
You're exaggerating. This is fine. It won't do to be all clumped together with such a large table and cafeteria.
It's like
We have
50
to
feet
make
long.
use of all this space. Now tell me, that wound on your face, what happened?
Let's just say I had some trouble during the last case I was working on. I'm sure it'll heal. It's just a flesh wound.
Oh my, well, there's no need to be the tough guy here. I want you to be able to relax here. I've prepared a special room for you. A famous rock star once stayed in the same room, you know.
Really? I feel honored.
If you need anything at all, just let me know. I'll help you out in any way I can.
Zach, the lady is offering to help. Do you want to ask her about the town?
What?
Don't do it.
What is it, Mr. Morgan?
Oh, nothing. I just said that these bacon and eggs are the very best I've ever tasted.
Oh, really? You flatter me again. Well, Mr. Morgan, I'd better start cleaning up.
What
you
is
just
this?
take it easy.
Is this
I'll
from
bring
Deadly
your coffee out in a
Premonition?
moment.
Sure is.
Thank you,
That's
Polly.
I think I remember
Oh.
this scene.
This
I
is the
have
best
to
part,
warn you,
though, coming
though,
up.
I am very particular about my coffee. The very best you have, please.
I understand. I'll be right back with it.
I feel like he seems like the normal one until this.
Yeah, so just before they pour the coffee, Zach is his split personality who he consults. He's a detective, so he consults his split personality for advice. It's confusing. Okay, so what's happening right now in the scene is his coffee's being poured, and the cream is swirling in the coffee.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee. I knew I could count on it. Never fails.
So that's all I'm going to say. That's Deadly Premonition.
I feel like he was funny and she was just so cringy. Like he's like, "So, how's it going here?" "Oh, there's pepper on the table." Like,
Well, the funny part is, so his voice, his tone is very normal in the first half, but in the second half, you can tell like the voice actor is yelling, like he's yelling across a room, like, "Do you enjoy running the hotel?" Like, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. That piece of dialogue right there is my most awkward dialogue.
So
in
don't
video
talk
games.
to anyone 50 feet away from you.
pretty much.
I could.
Just don't talk to Pauline.
One of these episodes, I'm going to talk to you guys about Deadly Premonition and why it's the worst masterpiece ever. But that day is not today.
Tune in next time. And we'll talk about that.
Oh, that game! I could talk about that game for hours. You know, have you guys seen the movie The Room?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
That
a cult
is-
classic.
That's the video game version of The Room.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I did not.
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
We're going to do a whole podcast on The Room, just so you guys know.
Can it be like a Room Deadly Premonition combo cast?
Sure.
Done.
Tune
I
in
would
next
like
time.
I would like a dozen red roses. Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. It's me. Oh, hi, doggy.
That scene was actually improvised, hey? He didn't know a dog was going to be there. So he just had like
I assume that whole movie was improvised. Someone clearly didn't write a script for that movie.
No, Johnny did.
Yeah, Johnny did.
Or Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy
Yeah,
was
Did you see the some guy? I can't remember his name on YouTube, but it's a profile picture of this shrimp, and he did this
With
mix
Star Wars?
of The Room and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
'Cause
funny.
it was Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. He's like, "Oh, hi, Mark."
Oh.
He like
Oh, yeah.
threw a football at his face. He's like, "What?"
So good. All right.
So good.
So last week we had a listener email in from listener Chrissy, and so Chrissy I think has listened to all of our episodes now. So I wanted to say thank you to her. In her first email to us, she asked us a question: what was our opinion on girl gamers and
Fake ones.
fake girl gamers? So right off the bat, I think I speak for all of us as part-time allies when I say I think the term girl gamers is exactly equivalent to the term like male nurses. Like, we're just gamers. Nurses are nurses. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a weird label. Like, I don't know.
Get rid of the
Wait.
term.
Are you telling me girls can be gamers?
And also guys can be gamers. And guys can be nurses. And girls can be nurses.
It's like we're all unique and can have our own interests, and we shouldn't judge people for it.
What?
Whoa.
No one told me that in school. Oh wait, they did. I don't know. That term just always makes me angry. Like, I think yes, statistically, girls play less games than guys, or less girls play games than guys do. Just from like a ratio perspective, but that number's changing daily. I think
Oh yeah, for
as
sure.
as games become more culturally acceptable, I think a lot more people are branching in, regardless of gender. Just people who wouldn't have before. So yeah, I think I'm saying it right now, part-time allies. It's time to do away with the term girl gamers.
So let's not say that word again.
However, the second part of this question goes to fake girl gamers, and this is interesting. So, how many of us watch Twitch?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
not that much.
Not that much.
Okay.
Very little.
So, despite all I said about Dota earlier, I still watch competitive Dota. And in a lot of games like that, like Dota, League, Hearthstone, you see a lot of kind of, and this is thin ice. So
Very thin.
if
Let's tread quiet.
yeah,
or
we're gonna
softly.
try and tread softly. If we offend anybody, know that we're not trying to. This is just some personal observations. Sometimes you see on the front page there'll be the top 5 channels are in the thousands of streamers, sometimes tens of thousands of streamers. Just popular personalities, guys, girls, like just people who do a good job on Twitch. The next few lines down, a lot of the times in those type of games, you'll see girls with low-cut shirts kind of leaning forward. That's always the thumbnail of their stream, which then implies that that's what they're doing all the time, with like 50 viewers, something like that. And I don't know if fake is the right term to use here because they're obviously playing the game, right?
Right.
And I don't know. So I don't watch these channels, so I don't know what type of skill level they have going in.
I think some of them, it's not so much as like fake, but they're abusing the system of the whole like Twitch works for like you can make donations with like your Twitch currency or whatever, and the streamers will get a cut of that and make profit on that. And you do get these girls abusing the system because they're like, oh, there's lots of potentially like lonely guys on here who are going to click on my thing because I have a thumbnail of me in a low cut shirt and I'm playing a video game that they all like.
Yeah, and that's, like, again, treading on thin ice here. That's not to say that it couldn't happen the other way, but Twitch's clothing guidelines state that men can't have their shirts off, and I think it's pretty hard to kind of, if a guy were trying to bait, lonely girls to a channel, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to, I don't know. I don't think it happens proportionally one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to say that it couldn't, but I think that the numbers don't lie, and you can see a lot more of these channels we've described, where it's a female streamer as opposed to a male streamer. And I don't know if that's where fake gamer lies. But that's the first thing that jumped to my mind when I thought about it. The other piece of this is people have been accused of being fake gamers on Twitter. I think you see that a lot of, somebody will have a Twitter profile with, like I don't know, whatever, some video game related thing on their profile and their picture, and they do cosplay or whatever, right? Maybe something like that. And then someone approaches them at a con and goes like, "Oh, what's the first level of this video game called?" And then those people try and answer, but like they obviously no one's an expert in everything, right? And then the community just destroys them, like, "Oh, you're a fake gamer, like you don't know, you've never played Turok 2." Like, I don't know.
I feel like this is in every clique, in every different group. Everyone likes to have their own group, and everyone feels like they need to be against someone else. So they like to create their own separate groups. And so there's these nerds, there's a lot of people, a lot of gamers who just like to be in their group, and they like to be able to show off. It's like, oh, okay, you know what? Our group is awesome because if we like talk to this group and they have a question, or we tell them a question they can't answer, obviously we're the better group, we're the better gamers. And I feel like this happens a lot in society as well. They've got so many different groups, and I don't really feel like saying fake gamers. They just want to be included. They want to be part of this gaming community, and having other people not being receptive to that just pushes people away and kind of creates this stigma where gamers are kind of almost like elitists, but they're also nerdy, and you don't really want to stay too close to them because they have that mentality about them. So including these fake gamers, these quote unquote fake gamers, I think it's great. They've got different interests and different passions that they could bring to the gaming world. Like example, cosplaying, people like dressing up, people like acting out. And even if they don't have too much knowledge of the video game, at least they're going out there and they want to be part of the community because it is a fun community to be a part of.
Oh, for sure.
And it's when people start labeling other groups and saying, oh, well, how do you feel about this group? Are you part of our team or are you part of their team? Well, there's no team. We should all be part of the same team and be inclusive to anyone that's interested in being part of this gaming community and gaming culture.
Yeah. And if we're saying that, what's the threshold for being a gamer, right? Do you have to be sitting in this room making a podcast about video games to be a gamer? Do you have to have Bejeweled installed on your phone to be a gamer? Is that the bar? The truth here is there's no bar, right? If you are interested in video games in any form, guess what? You're a gamer, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's all it
Sorry.
takes.
You're a
And
gamer.
if you haven't played I hate that. You hear that a lot of time. Like if you haven't played and beat the first Dark Souls, you're not a real gamer.
Guess what, guys? I'm not going to beat the first Dark Souls for a while.
Yeah, spoilers. Ryan's not a real gamer. But no, there's
You're a gamer, Ryan.
Thank
a
you,
lot of
Jordan.
this stuff is just
Obligatory.
Yeah. So, and I want to preface this to what I said about the people on Twitch. I'm not saying they're not gamers either. What I'm saying is that I think a lot of people stream on Twitch because they're passionate about games and they're passionate about community, and these people are passionate about relieving young men of their dollars.
Yeah.
Just money.
Yeah, just kind of, and that's what it bugs me about it. It's like an abuse of the system.
Yeah.
It's I don't like it.
There's always
I
a
really
bad
don't.
side of everything.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm also not saying that, like, there are also probably fantastic female streamers that have low cut tops, right? Like, there's this
for sure.
this line is so gray that it's difficult to tread on, right? I'm just talking about trends that I've personally seen. But yeah, I think in terms of, quote, girl gamers and fake girl gamers, I don't know.
Do what you love.
Jordan put it greatly, or perfectly, actually. We as humans are tribal. We put ourselves in groups, and we make those groups fight other groups. And I think, a step to growing up and maturing in this space is realizing that this is a thing that happens, realizing when it happens, and knowing, being able to take a critical eye and observe, why are these people thinking this way? Why are they saying these things? Right? It's a good skill to have. So thanks for that, Jordan.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And just from my own personal experience too. So, like, I'm a pretty big fan of Star Wars, but I try and avoid kind of the Star Wars fanboys in the sense that, like, I know lots of them do kind of that. Well, okay, no, that's generalizing. I don't want to do that, but I know, like, for anything like that, and what Jordan was talking about, you get the people like, oh, what was the first level on this game, or like you get, for instance, with Star Wars, like, oh, well, do you even know what race Greedo is? And some Star Wars fans might be like, who's Greedo? And I'm sitting here like, well, I know who Greedo is, but I can tell you what alien. I love their movies. I love the movies. I like looking at them for their art, their awesome lines. Like, but I was going to Tachi Station to pick up some power converters. Like, no line beats that one. No villain beats Darth Vader. No, like, I love them for that kind of thing. Not for. I'm not going to go on the Wikipedia and look up every alien or whatever, because that's my relationship with the game. If you're with the movie, if your relationship with the movie is I need to know everything, that's great, do it, but like, we don't need to thrust it down other people's throats.
Yeah, I mean, you should let them know if they're not aware of who Greedo is. Just tell them who it is and don't downplay them like they're stupid or anything.
Exactly.
I don't like fanboys. Elitist fanboys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But do you like the Fanboys movie?
Yeah, I do.
I enjoy it. But
It's
that's
okay.
off topic.
Well, thanks, guys. That was great talk, actually. I felt like we got to some
Thanks
cool
for
places there.
talking about it with us.
Yeah, and thanks for the email, Chrissy. So, speaking of emails, let's move into emails from episode 2 to be read in episode 3.
Wow.
First email is from David. Hey, guys. Great story about couch co-op. I remember a time where my cousins and I were playing Left 4 Dead on New Year's, but we were so into the game that we forgot to celebrate at 12 a.m. and only realized we missed it when it was 2 a.m. That's some hardcore Left 4 Dead right there.
Oh,
That's awesome. Best NPC for me is Voss from Far Cry 3, who, if you don't remember Voss, he's the villain, the crazy guy who, in the trailers, kicks you off
he
the
was
cliff.
really good.
He
Really
was.
good
He
villain.
was really good. With my runner-up being the Groom from Outlast, Whistleblower. I did not play Outlast Whistleblower, so I don't know who that is.
I'm trying to remember. I played Outlast and I loved it. Whistleblower. Who was Whistleblower? Was
Oh,
he
that's
like?
the DLC. Whistleblower?
Yeah, Whistleblower, the way it's worded here, it looks like Whistleblower is the DLC and the Groom is a character from it.
Mm-hmm. Did you play
Oh.
Whistleblower, Jordan? I don't think you did.
Wait,
I
is
don't-
this the second Outlast?
No, this is
No,
DLC, for
DLC
the first
for-
one.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I got Outlast when it first came out, so unless the DLC came out when it first came out, then I didn't play it.
He describes both Voss and the Groom as two of the most messed up characters I have ever seen in a video game.
Yeah, I played a ton of Far Cry 3, and Voss is so great.
So great because he's so bad. As for the future of gaming, that was weird. As for the future of gaming, I expect we will see modular consoles or shorter console generations. While you could argue that the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X are part of the same generation, to me they start the next gen. Same goes for the Switch. I fully expect consoles to make an approach similar to PCs, where you can upgrade their hardware, whether it's GPU, CPU, or hard drive. Games are too demanding nowadays, and for the same hardware to exist for 7 years like they did for the PS3 and 360, it's just weird. That's my thought anyways.
Okay, I actually have a point. Personally, I don't think that they're gonna have hardware upgrades for
Yeah, no, I don't think
consoles?
so either, other than hard drives.
I don't think so.
yeah,
either.
other than hard drives, because it's such a big industry, and those companies are gonna lose a ton of money if they're not selling consoles. If they're just selling upgrades, like yeah, they're gonna be slowly making money, but then you're gonna get some of those people who are just content with staying where they're at,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not making any money off that.
Yeah. Just because we don't agree with you, David, though, does not mean you're wrong. So thank you for your
Thanks,
opinion.
David.
He
Yeah.
signs off by saying, great job, and looking forward to episode 3. So thanks.
Welcome
Whoa,
to episode 3.
This is episode 3.
Ryan, do you want to take the next chronological email?
Yeah, we already touched on this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just read the top bit,
Yeah.
and we can skip her questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is from Christy or Chrissy, whichever one you prefer to go by. It says, "Thank you guys for featuring my email. More importantly, thank you guys for keeping me entertained on the drive to work on Mondays. Well, happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Some quick notes about last week's episode. I, for one, am pretty excited for Mario Odyssey, as well as very curious about Shadow of the Colossus, which I am in the same boat as Ryan, which is me, and have not played it. I just have this inkling to climb up those giant colossus and slay them. And I love the couch co-op story that Ryan has told, a very heartfelt love letter to harken the age of co-op back into today's clutches, which I think it will. Everything is coming back just like board games.
Oh, yeah.
We love our tabletop
We
games.
love tabletop. We've actually, you can write in if you guys think this is going to be interesting. AJ, where can they write in?
Oh my gosh. PartTimeAlliesMail@gmail.com.
Thanks, bud. What was that again?
PartTimeAlliesMail@gmail.com.
We were thinking about playing a little game called Fiasco and recording it as a podcast 1 week.
Ooh.
So if you think that would be interesting, that's something you want to hear, shoot us a line and we can see about getting that sorted out. If you don't know what Fiasco is, Google it. It's pretty much a role-playing game where we make our own really crazy movie.
Yeah.
Go on, Ryan.
And before the questions, it kind of finishes off here. The NPC I felt was the most memorable among you three was definitely AJ's. So
Heck yeah.
AJ that's 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
I'm
Round
gonna
of
win.
points. The Resident Evil 4 merchant. Who the heck is that guy?
I don't know, Chrissy.
He's just there. Love this episode. Like I said, I love your chemistry. We're actually a bunch of biology majors, so
Thank you.
Yep.
yeah.
She loves our work.
No.
Literally and literally.
Signed Chrissy XOX.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, Chrissy,
Great
for
email.
listening again.
We're actually not biologists.
No, we're not. None of us are biologists. Last email comes in from, I'm going to assume you are named Tony.
It's not. That's kidding.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Tony's a first-time listener, so hey, Tony, welcome to the... Is that what we're just... So let's think about this for a sec. What are we calling our fan base? Part-time allies?
They're allies.
They're
Yes.
allies?
There are allies, man.
They're allies, man.
Tony,
What about part-time listeners?
Sure, that works.
part-time listeners is kind of cool, too. Tony, welcome... Oh, it sounds better to go like, Tony, welcome to the part-time allies, instead of, Tony, welcome to the part-time listeners.
Welcome to the crew.
Welcome to the crew. Hey, Tony, thanks for listening. So Tony says, hey, just wanted to start by saying great podcast, guys. Very professional. Thanks, Tony. We try
Thanks, man.
really hard.
We're wearing suit and ties right now, too.
We are, yeah.
But no pants.
Yeah, the cameras are only waist up.
Only
so.
half of us are wearing pants today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had two questions. The first is, I listened to the cast at work through my phone speakers, and so it can get hard to hear. Is it possible for you to boost the audio? Yeah, so that's something that we've looked at in the back end, and we hopefully have fixed it for you for this episode.
Yeah,
Tony.
hopefully you can hear us.
So thanks for writing in. And second, with the release of the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, are any of you guys going to are any of you guys going to be picking it up? And have you played the originals? Thanks.
So I guess going around the room here, I have not played the... Okay, so my experience with the originals comes from Uncharted 4, because at the very beginning and at the very end of the game, you play like one level or something. I don't know Crash Bandicoot that well, but you play like a level of it, and I sucked so bad. I think that's the ongoing story is Ryan sucks at games, unless it's NBA or Call of Duty.
So the first Crash Bandicoot was on the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
PlayStation 1.
yeah.
Right.
And going to the first part of that question, I'm going to wait to see what people are saying about it, but I am interested in picking it up.
First Crash Bandicoot. The first Crash Bandicoot game was the first video game in my house.
Wow.
At this point, I was not allowed to play video games, or I might not even have just had interest in them yet. But my dad had a PS1, and he had Gran Turismo and Crash Bandicoot, and he could not beat the first Hog Wild level. If you guys remember that level,
Nope.
the Crash Bandicoot is like a kind of like a forward-scrolling and side-scrolling platformer game. And then there were some special levels called the Hog Wild levels, where you rode a hog and it was really fast. And
I think I remember seeing some of that stuff.
it made the level a little bit more difficult. So I remember him not being able to beat it. And then years later, when I was finally allowed to play, or finally cared to play Crash Bandicoot, I remember beating it with him on the couch, and that was fun.
Oh, that's good.
Some bonding time.
I
Yeah,
feel
Silent
like
Bonding.
that's a future story.
There you go.
Maybe.
That was actually about it.
Okay. I, for one, have not played any Crash Bandicoots. I know like stuff about it, and I guess it just never interested me. I remember like hearing about like they made that character to oppose another character, and it was either Mario or Sonic. I can't remember what it was.
I would assume Sonic.
Probably, no, it would totally be Mario. Sonic was totally out of the
I can't
picture.
remember what they did, and I
Because
believe
Sega was off the boat.
I think I've watched a retrospective on Bandicoot and like about the development and how he was, made and like, opposed. And I think he was something else at one time. I might have been thinking about Ratchet and Clank, but
he was a hedgehog.
yeah, totally. But no, I have not played it. I'm not one for platforming games.
Ooh.
So
Was it really? I don't think it was necessarily a platform game.
Oh, yeah. It was about jumping over pits, not getting run over by things,
Yeah.
jumping on boxes. It was definitely a platform game. Even the bosses were platforming, generally.
Like, would Crash Bandicoot be good for like a app game? You know what I mean?
It'd be. I mean, I'm
Probably. A
no
running
I'm no
game?
UI designer, so I don't know how I'd.
Mm.
Oh, maybe like a runner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hold to spin, tap to jump. Yeah, you could do that actually.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
hasn't that happened? Because like
Yeah.
he's like that game is running.
Sony doesn't know what to do with that IP.
That's
so
true. That's true.
I have a story related to Crash Bandicoot. It's just a few minutes here. CTR, Crash Team Racing.
Oh.
This was
yes.
the ripoff of Mario Kart for the Crash Bandicoot characters. I played a ton of this game. Me, and actually the same friend who I would play the Shadow of the Colossus demo with. We would play CTR all the time. And I don't know if we overheated a console once or what, but what would happen is when you would fire the console up, you would see like or you would fire the game up, you would see the trophy animation kind of playing as the game was loading, and it would say something like, "Welcome to Crash Team Racing," and it would go into the intro. But the game super hardcore glitched one time, so we fired the game up, and it was like, "Welcome to Crash Team You win a trophy!" And then the game crashed. We're like, what? I don't know. That was a fun little story that I hadn't thought about in a long time.
Okay, I have a question. What is Crash Band? Is he?
He's a bandicoot.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
That's an animal?
Yeah, I think.
All right. I'm gonna look it up. I didn't know that either, Ryan.
Because I just assumed like dingo or something.
No, I think he's
or a hyena.
a bandicoot. Yeah, I think it's in the same family as those. But yeah, bandicoot's a thing.
Well, he's always smiling and laughing, so
Oh my
hyena
goodness.
would make sense.
So my mom's kind of an arty person, and I totally just remembered this. But back when we played Crash Bandicoot when I was a kid, she made a paper mache doll of Crash Bandicoot for
Oh my
me.
gosh.
Yeah, and it was like intricate.
Oh yeah. So is it?
So a bandicoot looks
Oh
like
wow, it looks like it looks like a mouse mixed with a kangaroo.
yeah. It looks like what are those other ones called? The chinchilla.
I was gonna say a chihuahua.
Chihuahua. It
No,
kinda
no,
looks
a
like
chinchilla.
chihuahua.
It's a small chihuahua.
They look a lot like chinchillas, and chinchillas are so like cute.
Oh.
Yeah, they are cute.
But that
You know what? He looks more like a hyena.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't. He doesn't look like
Mind
a
you, he has
panda.
the long nose, like
Yeah,
this.
kinda.
Yeah,
And he jumps. Platformer.
there you go.
So is it a remake they're doing? What
No,
are they
yes,
doing?
yes. It looks like a remake, a different engine.
Okay.
So you know what?
Maybe.
You know what? I'll buy it just for the feels.
I don't
We'll
think
see.
it's your standard price game either, which is nice. I think it's a
Oh,
little
it's
bit
like a
because
okay.
I think that was the same as when Ratchet and Clank came out. It wasn't a full price game either,
right.
which they definitely could have done that because that game was full and really really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right on. So let's talk about the challenge for this week. Jordan, can you recap what the challenge was for me?
The challenge. All right. There's been a challenge that I've been doing myself personally. And what I've been trying to do is eliminate certain crutch words that I use. And the three biggest ones for me is pretty good, no problem, and I'm trying to remember the third one. Anyway, the point of this is I'm trying to eliminate saying these crutch words. And it's really difficult to do, especially the one no problem, because I've been saying that a lot and I want to say you're welcome instead. And it's something that I think it'd be pretty good. Find some words that you guys say a lot and try to eliminate that so that you could
Ooh.
expand your vocabulary.
Okay, I know what my two are.
Yeah.
Guys and man.
There you go.
I address it doesn't matter who it is, if it's my grandparents, if it's anybody. If it's a singular person, I go, hey man, and if it's multiple people, I go, hey guys. And I feel like if I were to eliminate those two words, I would sound much more professional.
Mm-hmm.
your grandma's like, "Oh hi, Josh. Hey man."
Yeah, I can see how it could be a problem.
You know what? Now that you said it like that, I don't know if I call my grandma man, but I definitely,
Hey, grandman.
I definitely
man.
would walk into my grandparents' house and go, hey guys.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I don't find that's too bad.
no, but
No, but it's a clutch word.
yeah, it is a clutch
I
word.
guess.
Yeah.
Then I use too many, I guess.
But yeah. So should we recap this last week's challenge?
Well, let's figure out what your words are, and then we'll recap last week's.
Oh, I don't know what my words are,
I
and I
don't
don't think
know
I can
either.
say half the words that are on my
I know
mind.
I know one you could improve on. This is something that everybody says.
Like,
Oh, that's one. But another one that people say a lot is I think.
Mm.
That's a really hard one to get rid of.
Interesting. I probably say it a lot, but I never consciously think that I'm saying I think. So
Mhm.
That's
that
true,
would
that's
be a
true.
weird one to find.
That's true. I think you just kind of skip through it
Yeah.
when you talk
I
about
think
it.
I say it fairly often.
I think you say it a lot too.
I think I do too.
I think we have a lot in common.
We're bad
guys.
at this game.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's definitely a difficult challenge, and I think it's something that see, like I just said it again. Even when you say it, this happened to me at work as well. I was talking to my colleagues and I told them, there's another one too, that's a big one too. I was talking to them and I was saying, from now on, I'm only going to say you're welcome. I'm never going to say no problem at all. The phone rings. Someone asked me to do something and they thanked me and I said, oh, no problem. And everyone behind me laughed and I was like, ah. And then my colleague got the Post-it note, put it on my phone, and I was like, oh, of course I should say you're welcome. And they thanked me again. And then I said, you're
Okay.
welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
What about
That's
you,
my
AJ?
crutch word.
You know what? I probably have so many. I don't know right now.
I could tell you. You say you know a lot.
Okay.
It might even take like a day or two to realize what we say a
Yeah.
lot to start the challenge.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we'll group message each other and be like, kind of like figure out our mannerisms.
Yeah.
You
Because I know I do.
Yeah, I'll say, hey guys, let's think about what we're not going to say this week, okay, man? And then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think there you go.
Just listen to the podcast
Yeah,
and you'll
listen to
find
the
all of them.
podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
I say like way too much.
I
I-
say things way too much.
You got to go Valley Girl. I can't believe
And then everything you say is like a question. Like it has that upward inflection at the end of
you know,
it.
that's actually public speaking class. That's called upspeak. It was always people. I don't know if it was secluded to that geological area or what, but yeah, they would go, I can't believe you're talking like this. Why does everything have to end in a question? It just makes the listeners really confused all the time.
It does.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. So yeah, how did last week's challenge go for all of us? Last week's challenge, to recap, was we were going to compliment somebody. Now,
An acquaintance.
yeah, well, I don't think it had to be. I don't think there were specific bars on what it was. It was an acquaintance or it was someone we didn't know. It didn't matter as long as we complimented somebody we don't normally
I
compliment.
compliment people all the time, so
Hey.
that was easy.
I love your hair, AJ.
Thank you.
AJ's bald.
That didn't count.
I'm not bald.
He's
I'm not.
He's not bald.
You'd look pretty good bald if you were, though.
You would actually.
No.
No. No.
No. No.
So I guess I'll start.
Sure.
I finished a group project over the last week for school. And one of my group members did a lot of very good work on the group project. He really poured it out. Usually I don't mention anything about this. I just kind of assume people are going to be doing their work, and then I'll go on with my day. But he really helped out with this project. And so I kind of pulled him aside after our presentation, and I was like, hey, I think you did a really good job on this.
Hey, man.
And hey, man. You know what? I actually probably did say hey, man.
Probably.
Hey, man, I think you did a really good job.
Hey, man,
double.
like all the guys in our group, we all pulled our weight, but you especially did some great work on this. So I just wanted to say thanks, and I appreciate it.
Oh, dude.
Awesome job.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You
What
must
about
have
you, AJ?
felt really appreciated.
Well,
Yeah, and the funny thing was, I said this, and then I left the conversation going, "Oh, I complimented someone." Like I didn't go into it thinking like, "Oh, I
Nice.
really want to compliment this guy." It just kind of happened, and then I realized, "Oh, I guess that was
then you
my."
go back and say, sorry,
great.
that was a challenge.
I actually didn't care at all.
Yeah, I didn't care at all. It was actually a challenge.
No, it came out naturally, and then I just ended up using it for the challenge. I
Okay.
guess
Great.
so. It works.
I mean, today I said, hey, nice kicks to my coworker. I don't want to talk about, but acquaintances. You can call her Bertha. Sure. Yeah, old school friend. I just like a random. It's probably really creepy. I just like message her on Facebook because it's like that. Well, what I meant was like acquaintances, like you know them enough to when you see them in public, enough to say hi, but you don't really want to because it's really awkward. That kind of acquaintance, and I just kind of wanted to. So I messaged them on Facebook, Bertha, and I didn't really compliment her, but we just kind of talked. I think that's what I wanted to get across is like catch up with someone, I guess. But we just kind of talked about our lives and what they're doing. She's a hairstylist now, so Bertha.
Bertha's hair.
What made you want to choose the name Bertha?
I don't know.
That's a great way because that's how you start conversations. Genuinely, is you
Definitely.
you compliment them and then you talk about it, and then it's just
Oh wait, no,
a
I did
natural
compliment
flow.
her because she's like, "Oh, here, look at all the work I did." I was like, "Oh, dude, that's nice work." I don't know why I said dude.
Hey,
But-
dude.
I probably did because I'm very unprofessional.
Hey, man, you guys did nice work.
I think you did nice work, man.
All right, it's good that you guys are recognizing the words.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was about it. And just I compliment people all the time. So
Look at me being Mr. Compliment
yeah,
over here.
nice,
Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
nice eyes. You know what? Nice socks you got there.
Hey, I pride myself on my socks.
There you go.
I don't dress very fancy, but I like my fancy socks.
They're pretty
Yeah.
nice.
I don't wear fancy clothes, but when I go out, I put on my fancy socks.
Sure do. And I go out every day.
Okay. Well, for me this last week, I don't know. I consider my coworkers acquaintances. So
All right.
it was more so for me just like like you guys are doing a good job, or like I find it a compliment too if you like recognize someone doing something for you and it's like, oh, thank you, like I really appreciate you doing that for me. Like I would, to me, I consider that kind of a compliment too, because I don't know, when I hear that from someone saying that to me, I feel like, oh, thank you, like
Thanks, man.
yeah, like,
Thanks, man.
thanks guys.
It's always nice to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
I think so too.
So that mine was
Are we
just,
gonna start an awkward conversation?
Okay, no,
here?
actually, big shout out appreciation for AJ. If you have gone on to our SoundCloud or our YouTube and seen our banner recently,
Oh,
there are some sick pixel representations of all four of us.
I'm gonna be updating a lot more stuff. I'm the graphic designer.
AJ's kind of our media style brand guy. Not kind of, he is. He is our media
Sorta.
style brand guy. And his work is really cool. So yeah, if you want to check out his little pixel drawing he made,
you
well,
wanna
not,
drop
it's not
me.
even little. His pixel drawing he made of us, or even our title card or anything like that. AJ's work is super cool. So yeah.
And if you guys didn't know, he actually provides the voice of AJ on the Part-Time Allies
I
podcast.
do.
He does, yeah. He is 1/4 of the Part-Time Allies actual live show, if you
Yeah.
could believe it.
If you want to look at my work, I have an Instagram account and a Facebook. It's at the AJ Cosmos. At the AJ Cosmos. So if you want to look at my work,
Yeah, he
Go
has
there.
made some cool stuff. I'd highly recommend checking him out.
yeah, thanks. And I'm on the Part Time Out podcast, so
He is, yeah.
check that out too.
He's a consistent 100% guest /
Yes.
co-host. Are you allowed to be a guest if you're a co-host
I
on the
don't
same
know.
podcast?
Why not? It's our podcast. We make the rules.
Speaking of
That's right.
co-host, Jernane.
That's me. Hello.
So you definitely 100% complete this challenge, didn't you?
I did compliment people, but I wanted to compliment people that I don't normally compliment. We work with a lot of different people, and generally I try to get out of my comfort zone, but this week I did not, and I didn't go out to see anyone else and give them a compliment on whatever they're doing or what they were wearing or if they tried a new hairstyle and it looked good. So I feel a little bit bad about not completing the challenge because I was aware of it and I didn't try too hard.
Shame.
But I did
Ding,
I
ding,
did
ding,
compliment people this week.
Shame.
It's not that I didn't compliment people, it's just I didn't get out of my own comfort zone to
It is hard.
It
compliment.
is. Talking.
It is
Yeah.
it is difficult, but I was in Vancouver last night and I did compliment a lot of strangers by giving them a lot of high fives. But it was more like a contest with Ben
Okay.
and myself.
Okay.
It was late at the night
This feels like the Subway story from last week.
and Ben's like, "Oh, you're only going to get like 4 high fives by the time we get back home." Like, "You know what, Ben? No way. I'm going to get at least 20." And I got about like 35. So I was
Whoa.
pretty
Look
I was
at
pretty
you.
happy.
Look
I
at
know.
you.
35 high fives of lies.
Of lies. The only one that really meant it was the very first high five that I gave, and that was to the cashier at the poutine place that I went to. At
Who
2
else do you
o'clock in the
need to
morning.
high five after
You
that?
don't need
Exactly.
to
He,
high five
you know
anyone
what? He smiled and he felt good. He felt good. It might have been because I gave him a pretty good tip, but he definitely received that high five with great enthusiasm.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember to tip your waiters and waitresses.
Yeah.
Yep.
With
And-
high fives and money. That
Unless you're in Japan, in which case don't tip. It's mean.
Europe.
Or Europe? Oh yeah, Europe. It's in the bill, isn't it?
I think so.
How about a crisp high five?
How would Christmas?
For you,
You know what?
10.
You know what? Come here. Give me a high five, Ryan.
Okay, nice. that was the worst high five.
Okay, wait.
That was very enthusiastic.
You gotta
Ryan.
look
Let's
at
try
the
it again.
elbow. Look at the elbow.
Let's do it.
All right,
Okay.
here we go.
All right, audience, let's
Yeah.
high five.
Right
Yep.
on. So
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would ask to high five everyone else as well too, but they're too far away.
Yeah.
yeah.
So don't feel bad.
Where we all sit doesn't really work. Okay, so before we close out this podcast today, I just want to thank the listeners we've been getting. I've been getting some great feedback from you guys. I appreciate you listening to us, wherever you're listening to us. However, the next step, I feel like we've gotten a solid foundation under us as the Part-Time Allies. We're 3 episodes in, we have a pretty good structure, and I feel like we know kind of what we're doing, a little bit.
Sorta.
So the next part requires your help. If you enjoy what we do, and if you enjoy the topics we talk about, and you think that more people should listen to us, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you guys could talk to your friends about us. Our social media presence is there, but we don't have a ton of followers. We're not booming. And one of the things that really helps this podcast grow is to get some ratings on iTunes. So even if you don't listen to us on iTunes, that's something huge you can do. Just go there, give us whatever rating you feel we deserve, write a little
star.
comment. 1 star. And yeah, we'd really appreciate that. We also have a YouTube channel. So you can find us at Part-Time Allies on Twitter, on YouTube, on SoundCloud. We are Part-Time Allies Mail at gmail.com if you want to write into the show. And please do. I mean, I generally don't write into podcasts, but you know what? this is a great time to be writing into us, because if you're writing into us, we're not getting a ton of emails. And every email we've gotten so far has been amazing. There's no like weird emails we have to cut. So if you want to have a conversation with us, feel free to email us.
Yeah, any constructive criticism or anything like that?
Yep. Yeah, it'll be great. So that's the next step for us. We want to be able to reach as many people as we can, and the best way to do that is for you guys to give us a little bit of help. So right on. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And, you know, if you write into us enough, you could see the Part-Time Allies recording van outside your house.
Oh, no.
We're not going back to that, are we?
Are we going back to that?
No, we don't have a van.
We do
Please.
not.
You know what?
Have a van.
There's an ice cream truck that we could maybe hijack.
Just paste Part-Time Allies on it and
Yeah.
have like one of those spinning satellite dishes on the top that just broadcasts.
We could be like Scooby-Doo Adventures.
So it's like, hey, Scoob. I saw a van that did not look like the Scooby-Doo van at all, painted like the painted like the Mystery Machine.
Oh, I've seen it.
Like, what if you're gonna do that paint job? Just get the right van.
We've also had the Jurassic Park
Oh,
Jeep driving
I saw
around.
that. I
too.
saw that. I saw that like 5 months ago.
So cool.
Well, guys, thank you very much for listening to the Part-Time Allies Part-Time Podcast. It's been great having you.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Love you.
Out. That's a wrap.
Put a bow tie on it, 'cause we're wrapped.
We're wrapped. Like a mummy.